If you've ever thought the weather can be a schizo, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. And actually, if you live in Chicago, you expect it. So this is just par for the course. Welcome back, everybody. Happy Thursday. I hope that you all had a wonderful rest of your Wednesday night. If you were wrapped up in the World Baseball Classic, thank you, Italy, for getting the United States into the next round. Really excited about that. But more immediately than all of that stuff, we're going to have a great show here today. First of all, it's Thursday. It's one day closer to the weekend. Ondas News partnering with Palantir. Yeah, I'm not kidding. We also have an interview here today, special interview for you again regarding some fresh news that's out here today. And don't forget, we have that webinar at 11 Eastern. We have a full day here for you to get you set for the Friday. Benzinga's pre-market playbook, the Thursday edition for March 12th, 2026, begins right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. It's great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here. I hope that you all had a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. We are back for another exciting session here on Thursday. We'll see how it shakes out here today. Futures actually under a little bit of pressure, down from some of their morning highs, so we'll see how that opens. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here. Solitary Soldier is first for me here today. I might have joined the stream a little late, so if I missed anyone that was earlier than Solitary Soldier, I'm sorry. But I was going through some stuff here this morning. So Solitary Soldier, good morning. Welcome back. It is great to see you. Big Dave, good morning. Welcome back. Futures are red this morning, indeed, but they're not red by a whole lot. S&P futures only down 0.6 at the moment. So we'll see how it shakes out here today. Been a lot of volatility. Don't think that's necessarily going away this week or maybe even next week too. So we should kind of expect that at least for a little bit longer. Crispy Biscuit, good morning. Welcome back. It's good to see you as always, boss. Zach McCracken, good morning to the Benzi gang. Patience Danielson. Not sure who you're referring to there, but that's okay. Welcome back, Zach. It is great to see you. We're going to have a great day here today. Robert, good morning. Welcome back. Producer, good morning. Welcome back. Thanks for everything you do and all of the help that you give me from behind the scenes on a regular basis. Ezra, good morning. It is great to see you as always. Ethan, excuse me, I almost called you Evan. I apologize for that. Ethan, it's great to see you again. Welcome back. Dirkus, good morning. Welcome back. Wiss, good morning. Welcome back. Wiss saying, Ryan, who do you got for the players? Well, the fifth major here, I am going to be kind of boring, unfortunately. It's, for me, a lot of these tournaments are Scotty or the field. And I just got a feeling that Scotty shakes these Thursday jitters that he's been facing here in 2026. And he ends up wrapping this thing up. I'm curious to see if Rory's back is going to let him go this weekend. He's really good at this tournament too. Saw some tweets yesterday that he was kind of rubbing his back on the practice range. So we'll see if he can make it. I'll tell you what, let me know if there's any sleeper bets. Akshay Bhatia last week was incredible. And if there's any other bets like that out there, I'm curious. I haven't bet on it, so I'm going to just be boring and take Scotty. Richard Judge, good morning. Welcome back. It's great to see you. We are going to cue the happy music indeed. We're going to bring the happiness and the positivity to your morning as well. And I know that you do that for everyone else out there, so we appreciate that. Corey, good morning. Welcome back. Carlos, good morning. Welcome back. It's great to see you. Marionette, good morning. Welcome back. Great to see you as well. Day Trader, good morning anyways. I think it's anyway. Not sure what you're referencing, but good morning nonetheless. Good to see you. Just passing through, good morning, welcome back. Bernhard, good morning, welcome back. Jonas, good morning, saying a great day to buy some oil. Hey, if you're playing the oil volatility, did we trade up to like 95 a barrel and then we came back in a little bit? Let me take a look here. CL futures at 92. I think they are down from some of the previous highs. Yeah. Yep, that thing was above 95. It's actually testing 96. So we did back off a little bit. I suppose if you think oil is going to trade back up here today, might have an opportunity at that. Let me know how you're playing that and what you think, not only for today, but maybe for the near term here as well. Rooster, good morning. Like is smashed. That's what I like to hear, Rooster. Good stuff. Welcome back, and we appreciate you. Cam, good morning, as always. Great to see you. Just passing through, says, Mother Nature throwing up lottery numbers for temperatures here in central Indiana. The weather is wild. Tornado touchdown not far from me, the day before yesterday. It was warm. It was almost 70. Now it's 30. Now there's frost everywhere. Like I said, man, that weather is schizo. It is what it is. Linda, good morning. Welcome back. It's great to see you. Robot to Trade, good morning. Welcome back. Ed, good morning. Welcome back. Brandy, it's great to see you as always. Welcome back. Brian, good morning. Sorry I'm late. No problem. I don't take attendance. I'm one of the cool teachers. Dara, good morning. Welcome back. TME, good morning. Welcome back. You up 30X? No, you can't have my autograph. I don't know why you'd be asking for that. That's really weird, but good morning nonetheless. Welcome. Jay Summers, buenos dias. Jay Summers, it's great to see you again. Hopefully all is well in your corner of the world. Welcome back. And Pojdi, good morning from Belgium. I love our international audience here. Absolutely amazing. Hopefully you're having a great day because you're probably in the middle of the day there. So good afternoon. To those that are in Belgium. All right, folks, let's go ahead and get started with our stock market today. All right, futures under pressure here this morning ahead of Thursday's open, and actually as we speak, S&P trading a little bit lower here. S&P futures down 0.7%. They are up off the overnight lows. The low there, 67.07-ish. We're currently at 67.31. But we just broke through the VWAP, and it looks like we're pushing a little bit lower. Dow futures down 0.88%, and the NASDAQ down 0.68% ahead of Thursday's open. All right, let's take a look at some cues from last session. Only energy, communication services, and information technology sectors rose on Wednesday, whereas other S&P 500 sectors declined amid a mixed close. Oops. On Wednesday in Hebron, Kentucky, President Trump asserted that the U.S. has, quote, won the war against Iran, citing severely weakened Iranian military capabilities despite the ongoing regional attacks and no specific end date. Simultaneously, Energy Secretary Chris Wright announced that the Department of Energy will release 172 million barrels from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve beginning next week in order to mitigate the energy price spike during the conflict. Meanwhile, the United Nations Security Council also condemned Iran for attacks on Gulf countries and Jordan, demanding a halt to those hostilities. The 10-year Treasury yielded 4.22%, and the 2-year bond was at 3.65%. And as expected, it is a near certainty that the interest rates are held steady next week at our Fed meeting. Now, we have several stocks in focus here today, and perhaps spring is back in the air because Bumble is popping here today. Ticker Bumble, the company, is ticker BMBL, jumped 22.89% in the pre-market on Thursday after the company released its fourth quarter earnings report and issued a strong first quarter revenue outlook. Really quickly, the stats on that: the Q4 EPS was a $4.06 loss. That actually missed the 24-cent estimate. Big miss there. Sales were $224.165 million. That beat the estimate of $221.3 million. And they see Q1 sales of $209 to $213 million. That was versus the estimate of $210.89 million. Bumble trading up pretty nicely on the back of that report. The next stock on our list here is going to be Morgan Stanley, and the ticker on this one is MS. It declined by 1.8% after it restricted redemptions at its private credit fund after withdrawals surged. So we'll see if that picks up or accelerates here at all. The next stock on our list is an AI name. This is UiPath, and the ticker on this one is PATH, ticker PATH. It fell 5.41% despite the company's fourth quarter earnings exceeding expectations. The board also authorized a new $500 million share repurchase program for fiscal 2027. UiPath expects revenue of $1.754 billion to $1.759 billion. That was above the $1.744 billion estimate. Now, the Q4 adjusted EPS was 30 cents. That beat the 26-cent estimate. And sales were $481.1 million. That beat the estimate of $464.492 million. They also see Q1 sales of $395 to $400 million. That was versus the $394 million estimate. So UiPath still struggling a little bit despite that report. The next stock on our list is going to be Global Foundries, and the ticker on this one is GFS, Golf Frank Sierra. It plunged 4.15% after pricing a secondary offering of 20 million ordinary shares at $42 per share. The last stock on our list here is going to be Adobe, and the ticker is ADBE, and it was down 0.36% as analysts expect it to report earnings of $5.87 per share on revenue of $6.28 billion after the closing bell today. All right, let's take a look at the SPY chart here. See where we are at. All right. So we talked about the big power candle here that we had on Monday, big reversal candle. Again, the one negative of this candle is that we did not fully come down to the 200-day moving average and test it. But nonetheless, it created a nice bullish engulfing candle. And the next few days, we've actually stayed in this range. So we're still in this range here today. And this move down in the pre-market has actually brought us into the support area that we've been looking at. This is about 667.34 is where I drew my line, right up to 672.99 or 673. So the question for me here today is, do we find support in any of this, at any part of this area, and do we turn around? Otherwise, if we continue to break down and we end up testing 667.34 to the downside, got to think that a break of that finally makes us test this 200-day. If we continue to trade down, maybe even break that 200-day, that would be excellent. A lot of us are waiting for some of these asset prices or valuations to get reset a little bit. Maybe this pullback is the catalyst for that. Also, keep in mind that we do have a possible seasonality flip coming here pretty soon. We'll see if it ends up happening. I know some of the seasonality stats from the end of last year didn't work out all that well, but mid to end of March, we generally see some of this bearishness resolving. So it's one of the things we're going to be looking at, and we will try to time that as best we can wherever the chart ends up finding that support. So my key levels here today are really going to be the 673, maybe even 675, because when the SPY's traded around that level, it's kind of danced around that level a little bit. And then if we continue to get a little bit weaker here, I would say 667.34 going to be one of your downside support levels. We'll see if we can hold that here today. All right, let's take a look at some insights from analysts. According to BlackRock's March 2026 commentary, the firm remains overweight U.S. equities despite a Middle East conflict causing a, quote, supply chain shock, end quote. BlackRock anticipates the U.S. economy will prove more resilient than its international peers because it's less dependent on energy imports. BlackRock expects the U.S. market to be driven by, quote, strong corporate earnings driven in part by the AI theme, end quote, alongside continued Federal Reserve easing. While they see a risk of stagflationary shock, they believe it's, quote, not a given, end quote, and expect disruptions to last weeks rather than months. That theme seems to be pretty consistent across the board. However, the outlook for the broader economy involves structurally sticky inflation. Key highlights of their stance include the leadership has reversed abruptly. Equity markets in regions most dependent on energy imports have sagged sharply, whereas the MSCI US has been steady. They also say we stay underweight long-term treasuries and favor U.S. stocks. They also say the yield increase aligns with our view that we are at risk of an inflationary supply shock rather than a demand-driven growth slowdown. Ultimately, BlackRock views the U.S. as a relative haven, reinforcing their long-held view of a world shaped by supply. Now, for the upcoming data, we do have a data print coming in about 16 minutes here. Initial jobless claims for the week ending March 7th, and January's U.S. trade deficit data, and February's housing starts and building permits data will all be released here at 8:30 Eastern today. So again, 15 minutes from now. Now, I do have some more news here for you, just some connected to some of the stocks that we take a look at on a regular basis. First one here is going to be about Tesla. Tesla was hit with a $1 million full self-driving lawsuit in Texas. The owner blames aggressive and irresponsible salesman, Elon Musk. As a $1 million lawsuit filed by a woman in Texas has questioned Tesla's CEO Elon Musk's appointment and retention by the automaker. On Wednesday, Electric accessed court filings that showcased Justine Saint Amour, a Texas-based Tesla owner who purchased a used Cybertruck with the full self-driving package from a Florida dealership last year, alleging that her vehicle on autopilot attempted to drive off an overpass in Houston before she disengaged the full self-driving and intervened. Gotta say, that just on the surface there, pretty terrifying. The car automatically trying to drive you off an overpass. That doesn't sound good at all. Saint Amour was driving on the 69 East X freeway in Houston, where her Cybertruck approached a Y-shaped overpass split near 256 East X Park and Ride, the report said. While the Cybertruck should have followed the curve to the right, it kept driving straight and collided into a concrete barrier at the edge of the overpass. The lawsuit also points towards the appointment and retention of Musk in a move that hasn't been seen in previous lawsuits filed against the company over the self-driving technology. The filing alleged that the automaker was negligent in, quote, allowing Elon Musk to override the concerns of engineers at Tesla, end quote, referring to some engineers at Tesla reportedly wanting to incorporate LiDAR tech into the self-driving suite. The lawsuit also alleges that Musk is a, quote, aggressive and irresponsible salesman, end quote, making, quote, dangerous design choices and overpromising features, end quote, while also alleging misleading marketing practices and defective designs. This comes as Tesla has had its fair share of legal troubles over the year. Recently, the automaker was sued by the parents of a 19-year-old college student, Krista Sukahara, who lost her life after she was trapped inside a flaming vehicle due to the Cybertruck's electronic door system following a crash, as the lawsuit alleges. I've said this here before, just kind of in general. I had a friend that had a pretty bad accident driving home on a snowy road on his way to Michigan. And when the car flipped over, one of the things he was able to do is break the glass. And he said that one of the best tools that everyone should have in their car is one of those glass breakers. It makes something like this. If your door is electronically locked or jammed or simply hit and can't be opened, your only lifeline may be escaping through the glass, and an easy way of breaking that glass should be in everyone's vehicle. So just a little PSA there. They're very inexpensive and they're extremely effective. Tesla was also sued by multiple owners in China over its full self-driving systems capabilities, as well as faced a wrongful death lawsuit over a Model S crash that claimed 3 lives on New Jersey's Garden State Parkway. Tesla also filed a lawsuit against the California Department of Motor Vehicles after the automaker dropped the autopilot term from its marketing activities amid the false advertising row. Tesla was earlier sued by the California DMV over its marketing activities for misleading customers. So we'll see what kind of impact this has here on Tesla. Looking at it, it is basically flat. It's down a little bit. It was down in the overnight session, but is traded back up in the pre-market and is right about at flat. I think more so we're going to have to see how some of these lawsuits play out, frankly, as opposed to just what we hear when they're first released here. All right. Next one here, more lawsuits. Costco facing a class action lawsuit over the big bad tariff refunds after that Supreme Court ruling. Tesla has become the subject of a proposed nationwide class action lawsuit demanding refunds for customers who were charged higher prices before the Supreme Court nullified the tariffs imposed by the Trump administration. The lawsuit was filed Tuesday in a federal court in Illinois by Costco shopper Matthew Stockov, individually and on behalf of other similarly situated shoppers. The plaintiff is seeking a declaration that the company must return customers and any refunds it received for tariffs it paid under the International Emergency Powers Act, the IEEPA. The complaint alleges that the lawsuit aims to stop Costco from receiving a double recovery and notes that the retailer has not committed to returning any tariff refunds to consumers who ultimately paid those costs. Costco CEO Ron Varchis has said in an analyst call last week that it's still unclear whether or when businesses will be refunded the tariffs that were previously paid under the IEEPA. If the retailer does receive refunds, he added, Costco plans to use those funds to lower prices and enhance value for customers. Sounds good, but kind of vague there. In December, Costco filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration demanding a refund for tariffs even before the Supreme Court ruled that President Donald Trump's IEEPA tariffs were illegal. Following the Apex Court's decision in February, FedEx filed a similar lawsuit against the U.S. government seeking to recover those tariffs. Earlier this month, the U.S. Court of International Trade in New York City ordered the government to refund potentially billions in unlawfully collected tariffs to importers after a lawsuit by Atmos Filtration Technologies, that's ticker ATMUS. Judge Richard Eaton said the company had paid about $11 million in illegal tariffs. In response, Brandon Lord of U.S. Customs and Border Protection, the CBP, told the trade court that the agency is developing a new system to streamline tariff refunds. The system is expected to be ready within 45 days and will require minimum input from importers. Brandon Lord said that as of March 4th, more than 330,000 importers made over 53 million entries with U.S. Customs Border Protection, paying about $166 billion in tariffs that now need to be refunded. So we'll see if this ends up happening. I know the tariff refund overhang is still out there. Costco has actually kind of traded sideways recently. We'll see if anything happens. We'll keep updating you on this story as well. I know a lot of you folks are following this. All right. Next story here. Let's see. We're going to be good for our guests. Just a couple more minutes here. I want to roll through some more of this news. Here we go. Pentagon taps Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and Morgan Stanley for $200 billion defense initiative. In a move to counter China's growing influence, the Pentagon is reportedly putting together a team of investment bankers from leading Wall Street firms for a $200 billion defense investment initiative. The Department of War is specifically seeking bankers from Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, and Bank of America to assemble a 30-person team called the Economic Defense Unit. This initiative is a 2 to 3 year secondment program, not a permanent career transition, reported by Semaphore on Wednesday. The recruitment document prepared by search firm Heidrick and Struggles offers a banker a chance to serve your country and manage more capital than most investors deploy in their entire careers. The unit will deploy $200 billion in defense investments over 3 years, marking a major shift towards prioritizing economic security. The agency is courting top Wall Street talent by criticizing the peak neoliberalism of the 1990s, blaming policies like outsourcing and integrating China into the global economy for weakening U.S. supply security. It says the goal is to help deter major adversaries from gaining military superiority while offering recruits direct access to senior government officials and privileged information. The Department of War did not immediately respond to our comments, but as we always do, we will update you if we get anything on that. The Pentagon's move comes in the context of a broader shift in U.S. economic strategy. Earlier, President Trump called for the creation of a sovereign wealth fund to promote the long-term financial health and international leadership of the United States. This new initiative seems to be a continuation of that vision. Moreover, the Pentagon has previously demonstrated its willingness to invest in strategic industries. Earlier this year, it backed L3Harris Technologies, that's ticker LHX, with a $1 billion convertible preferred investment, choosing leverage over common stock. Furthermore, the involvement from bankers from JP Morgan is notable. In October, the bank launched a $1.5 trillion security and resiliency initiative to boost critical industries amid a 10-year strategy to support finance, and invest in industries vital to national economic security and resilience. Okay, one more quick update here before we get to our guest. This one is going to be on Joby. I know the eVTOL thing is something that or eVTOL theme, I should say, instead of thing, is something that our group follows here. We've recently reported on some of the news here for Joby, but we have some more here. Joby Aviation begins testing the air taxi as it targets the 2026 launch. Looks like we are still on pace for that. The final phase of bringing this to market. Joby has revealed it has begun testing the production version of its upcoming air taxi amid a partnership with the FAA. In an official statement on Wednesday, the company revealed that the air taxi has begun its flight testing for the first FAA-conforming aircraft for Type Inspection Authorization, or TIA, which is a major step towards type certification. Quote, "Seeing this aircraft fly means everything to our team. It's the validation of years of hard work and marks our entry into the final phase of bringing aircraft to market," end quote. That came from Joby president of aircraft OEM Didier Papadopoulos from a statement. In the statement, the company also shared that it plans to deliver over 500 aircraft per year following the acquisition of a new 700,000 square foot facility in Dayton, Ohio, to support plans of expanding production to 4 aircraft per month. The news comes as Joby was hit by a countersuit filed by Archer Aviation, ticker ACHR, which accused Joby of hiding its ties to China as a means to evade U.S. tariffs and foreign influence oversight. Seems like some pretty serious accusations there. An attorney representing Archer said that the company had filed the suit to, quote, "ensure accountability, restore fair competition, and safeguard the strategic future of American advanced aviation," end quote. Joby, on the other hand, filed a theft of trade secrets lawsuit against Archer last November. Quote, "Archer's ludicrous and defamatory comments are nothing more than an irresponsible attempt to distract from Joby's trade secret theft lawsuit proceeding against Archer," end quote. That came from an attorney for Joby responding to Benzinga. Joby also announced it was partnering with FAA and participating in the eVTOL Integration Pilot Program, or the EIPP. The program would enable companies to begin operations in 2026 in 10 states across the United States. Interestingly, Kathy Wood-led investment firm ARC bought over 27,759 shares of the company via ARC's Autonomous Technology and Robotics ETF, that's ARCQ, and the Space and Defense Innovation ETF, that's ARCX. The investment totaled ARC's stake in Joby at over $51 million. So it looks like this spat has been going on for a while. It continues to do that. I know this has been a huge following for our group here. We're going to keep tabs on this, no doubt. No doubt. All right, folks. I know normally we don't have a guest on Thursday, but I am extremely pleased to have a guest for you, a repeat guest, someone who has been excellent with us before. It is my pleasure to bring on the CEO of Beeline Holdings, Nick Liuzza. Let's go ahead and give him a warm welcome. Nick, good morning. How you doing?
Hey, A+ on the pronunciation of the last name. A+. Thank you for that.
I promised you last time that you were kind enough to join us that I would not screw that up again. Who would I be if I went against my word?
Well, 90% of the people make that mistake, so thank you.
We're the 10% here, Nick. Thanks for joining us, and thank you for taking time out of your day. Look, we've talked with you before. Beeline is a technology-enabled digital mortgage platform. You've had some exciting news here today, and I am super thrilled that you have joined us to talk about it. I'm going to go ahead and read our headline here for you, but I'm going to tap you to tell us what it means. Beeline Holdings, TYTL, enter a strategic partnership on tokenizing home equity, and Beeline launches a tokenized home equity initiative with this partnership. So first, it is, of course, great to have you back. You had this big news. Can you please explain this to investors?
Yeah, first of all, I want to put a shout out to our partners at TYTL. Those guys are absolutely incredible on the other side of this transaction. There's two sides to this transaction. There's the real estate piece and there's the tokenization piece. And Beeline is on the real estate piece, right? And so basically we are delivering a new product to a new demographic that we think is very compelling. It's for people that are having an issue creating liquidity for themselves, and they can't necessarily qualify for a cash out refi or a HELOC or even a reverse mortgage for whatever reason. And if you think about these people that need liquidity, you think about the fact that Mick Jagger is 82 years old. Who thought Keith Richards would still be alive? The fact is that people are outliving their retirements and they don't have a lot of places to go. Enter Beeline Equity, which provides an opportunity for a homeowner who meets the criteria. They can sell a slice of their home with no strings attached, no appraisal, no credit check, receive cash in about 7 to 10 business days, and not have to worry about paying that obligation back until there's a change in title, period. That's the product.
Okay, that sounds like a great flexibility for those that maybe are outliving their expected lifetime. And by the way, speaking of Mick Jagger, I can't believe they're still doing shows.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, think about it.
It's unbelievable. Okay. Now, look, the one thing I want to get out of the way here, one of the things that we discuss on a regular basis, there's a lot of geopolitical stuff going on. It affects the market. It affects a lot of stuff within the market. So given all the geopolitical tensions that are happening now, do these affect Beeline and its business? And of course, mortgage rates as kind of a secondary thing?
Well, look, we're a little immune to the news, right? I mean, we have been operating in the worst real estate market for the past 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone told us 4 years ago, to pay attention to the news, we would not be in business. Obviously, today's news or today's events are troubling around the world, but, we still have to conduct our business. And the rates are what they are. And we'll continue to do our business. Look, we grew 100% revenue growth, 24 to 25, in one of the worst real estate markets in 30 years. And now we've introduced a product that's not tied to interest rates, that there's huge demand for, addressing a $39 trillion addressable market with virtually no competition. I mean, the other products out there cannot compete with this product in any way, shape, or form, period. So look, we're going to pay attention to the news and maneuver as best we can. But we expect to continue to grow our revenue very quickly as a result of this partnership with TYTL and as a result of kind of where we are with our business. Remember, over the past 4 years, our unit economics have been negative, so what that means is every loan we have done has been negative. So our revenue was small because we have had zero appetite to go ahead and drive new business. Our unit economics are now positive. So now we've turned the dial up on marketing, and we're seeing our leading indicators grow incredibly well.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that we'll be doing more business and more volume. And this time around, the economics are profitable. Enter Beeline Equity, we're positioned well.
Okay, that's awesome. And that is a gigantic total addressable market there. That makes me really excited in any business that we're talking about. Look, can you tell us what else do you have in the pipeline?
Well, look, we've been developing technology for 4 years. We've been heads down in the worst real estate market with our foot on the gas pedal, not scared to not spend money to create software. So our front end AI is performing really well. We're bringing that AI toward the middle of the process and the back of the process, not just customer engagement. And that's going to help drive better margins at the end of the day. It's going to allow us to engage with consumers faster and quicker in ways that currently aren't happening in the space right now. So I would say that's on the forefront. And then look, we're probably going to continue to look to make investments in blockchain. As far as TYTL goes, right? We're not changing our model. That's just another revenue source and another product with a really, really good partner, right? But we may decide to raise some money and maybe buy some of these tokens and put them on our balance sheet because they're instantly accretive. And now you're changing the complexion of your company a bit to not just being a lender, but being an asset-based lender, because you now own assets that are extremely valuable. Now, I will point out, this is not a lending product. So if we buy these tokens, right, it is an asset-based equity product. And for any long-term investors out there that are buying mortgage-backed securities, it is something very interesting and very different to look at, because there is no other product out there like this. And especially if you consider you can create liquidity and you can get better returns in buying mortgage-backed securities with more flexibilities, it's something to look at.
Okay, that all sounds really exciting. Now, look, based on the current view, what are the goals and plans for the rest of 2026 and then also beyond?
Well, I had to be very careful coming on this interview because you're very crafty on how you ask forward-looking statements from CEOs like myself. I've been doing my research, and I have to be careful with some of these questions. But I can tell you that at a really high level, we're going to continue to execute on our plan. We put out some guidance, basically saying that we expect to be at a $100 million run rate within 24 months. We put that out in January of 2027. So I very, very comfortable that we will hit that goal. In fact, maybe even exceed that goal with the new product. So we're geared toward doing two things, right? Transactions to drive our volume, right? And at a very high level, continue to build tech and invest in tech. And albeit it could be mortgage, traditional tech, or blockchain tech to increase our valuation of our company and increase our opportunity to provide a better outcome for our demographics.
Okay, so I'll just be blunt on this one here. Can you comment at all on the revenue outlook?
Well, like I said, a $100 million run rate in the next 24 months, right? That's what we're planning on doing. And so I would see, look, let's put the pieces together. 100% revenue growth, 24 to 25, worst real estate market in 30 years, right? Spending very thin money on marketing because unit economics were poor. Now we're spending more money because unit economics are positive. That's going to grow revenue faster than what it's grown before. 100% last year, 100 million in 24 months. And oh, by the way, a brand new product with an amazing partner that doesn't have any competitors to date, and we think is going to be very compelling.
Okay, and the one of the other forward-looking things that I always ask everybody is what is the capital raising strategy here? Is there anything planned?
Yeah. Well, listen, we initiated a ProSup, a $15 million ProSup, public record, right? And so whether we hit that, I don't know. We want to have that flexibility because of world events and because we want to make potential investments in other opportunities, and we want to basically take out some of our preferred shares as well. So the combination of all those things, given the right opportunity, we may raise some money to execute on some of those things.
Okay. I always love to involve our community here that watches some of these interviews. So I have a question here for you. How does the Clarity how does the Clarity Act impact your model?
I don't know that I'm in a position to comment on that
Okay.
at the moment, really, honestly. Anything I say, it might be taken out of context. I think I'm going to pass on that one, if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's no problem at all. We've got a pretty sharp group of viewers here too, so they've kind of picked up on some of that. But
you crushed me here, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We'll have you back, of course, and whenever you can talk about stuff like that, we'll do that. Let me just give you a more general question there. Is there anything else that you'd like to discuss with the investors?
Yeah, I would like to say that we're in it to win it. I told the investors last time I have $16 million in the company myself, right? I sit side by side with the investors. And sometimes when you're an investor looking in, you read something on SEC.gov, you're like, what is going on there? Yep. I don't quite understand that, right? Just keep in the back of your mind that our team has been in the real estate trenches for over 10 years, me personally for 21 years, right? Mm-hmm. And so we're trying to read the tea leaves and work with our partners to do the right things at the right time, including our shareholders, right? So sometimes what you see and you read on SEC.gov may not make sense to you, but understand we're dealing with more information, more data, and we're trying to make the right decisions for everyone, including myself and our leadership team, who are all invested in the company in one way, shape, or form, primarily in putting their own dollars into the company themselves. So we're in it to win it with our shareholders.
Yeah, and I love that. That's one of my favorite things. When the CEO especially is invested in the success of the company as an investor, that always gives me a really good feeling. That makes me think that they're always doing their best.
The past 6 years, you know what my salary is? It's $30,000 a year. That's what I take out of the company, right? So, not only have I put my own money into it, I'm not taking any money out of it, or I haven't been at least, right? Because I want to see shareholder value grow. And yet, have we made some mistakes? Yeah, of course we have, right? But those are learning experiences for us, because we're not here to build a $200 million company. We're trying to build a several billion-dollar company to start with and then grow from there. That's why we're in this business.
Yeah, but look, mistakes are part of the game, right? I've learned more from my mistakes than I have from my successes, and I would imagine it's the same with you as well. Those are very ambitious goals, and I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. So first of all, thank you. This is Beeline Holdings. The ticker is BLNE, and we are here with Nick Liuzza. Nick, thanks for waking up for us. Thanks for taking the tough questions. Really appreciate that, and I can't wait to have you back and hear more about this.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
All right, Nick, take care. All right, folks, and thank you. And Crispy Biscuit, I appreciate anyone that wants to ask questions of this. I appreciate it. We'll, like I said, we will keep doing these interviews. We will keep bringing these folks back. Nick has been very gracious with his time and very gracious with giving us information and in a timely manner. New news this morning, and he's on our show telling us about it. So really awesome stuff. We really appreciate that quite a bit. All right, folks, let's get back here. I do have just one more piece of news, and then we can take a look at Ondas. I also want to go over a tweet that is affecting everything, and then we can break down some of our movers. So let's go ahead and do that here real quick. This next one here is going to be about Atlassian, and you know what? We can actually, let me go back to the Benzinga Pro here. We can actually start with the chart. Here's going to be the chart for Team. We've talked a lot about software stocks and everything, really kind of trading down. Really, the question here is, has Team bottomed? Is it put in this bottom right here around 69.70? It looks like we're actually trying to recapture the 20-day moving average. So we'll see if we're successful in doing that. Here's the news, though. Atlassian cuts 10% of its global workforce amid an AI shift and cites the change in the number of roles required. Atlassian, ticker Team, is cutting 10% of its global workforce, citing the growing influence of artificial intelligence on its business strategy and operations. On Wednesday, the Australian-American software company known for products like Jira, Trello, and Confluence announced it will eliminate about 1,600 jobs worldwide. That was reported by Business Insider. The cuts are part of a restructuring aimed at focusing on AI and enterprise growth. About 30% of the layoffs are in Australia. In a message to employees, CEO Mike Cannon-Brookes acknowledged the impact of AI on the company's staffing needs, saying, quote, "It would be disingenuous to pretend AI doesn't change the mix of skills we need or the number of roles required in certain areas. It does," end quote. And really quickly, just as an aside here, this is one of the reasons why we've been saying that, well, AI is going to remove some jobs, it's going to create others. And those that are skilled and experienced in working with AI tools to increase productivity at whatever the company is are still going to have jobs, or perhaps we're even going to see more of those. Cannon-Brookes continued saying, quote, "I know this has a huge impact on each of you, and it weighs heavily on me and Atlassian today." End quote. The restructuring also affects senior leadership. Chief Technology Officer Rajiv Rajan will step down on March 31st after nearly 4 years in the role. Atlassian plans to offer employees a minimum 16-week severance package, extended health care, and prorated bonuses. The company's aggressive AI push includes acquisitions of the browser company, maker of the Arc and DIA browsers, or DIA browsers. I'm not familiar with that one, I'm sorry. And developer intelligent platform DX, which I am familiar with, which will be integrated into products like Jira and Bitbucket. Earlier this week, Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona raised concerns about AI's effect on American workers and unveiled his AI for America roadmap to protect jobs and ensure corporations contribute fairly. He said big companies were signaling plans to shrink their workforces and emphasize solutions to put workers first while minimizing job losses and supporting retraining. Last week, Salesforce, ticker CRM, CEO Mark Benioff downplayed fears of mass AI-driven layoffs, and thousands of U.S. workers were cut that week by Morgan Stanley, Oracle, and Capital One. In the software sector, NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang's comments signaled a shift from seat-based subscriptions to renting AI agents, with Gene Munster noting usage-based models would likely thrive as traditional models face pressure. So we'll see what all of this means and where some of these companies go. In the immediate term here is Atlassian at a tradable bottom. Are we due for a bounce like we are starting to see in some other software names? And will the 10% workforce reduction end up impacting the bottom line in a positive way? All right, let's go back to Benzinga Pro. I do have one tweet for you here today. Let's go ahead and knock out our street tweet segments. Then we can finish this off with ticker time. I want to cover the Ondas news here today. We'll take a look at the chart as well. And then we can take a look at any of the stocks that you folks want before we bring on 13 here. Let's go ahead and take care of street tweets. All right, this is a tweet here from First Squawk. Live Squawk. By the way, this is an automated Twitter account that does a really good job of providing timely information, so recommended follow. U.S. Energy Secretary Wright, the release of the U.S. oil reserves for short term will be in swaps. This came from a CNBC interview here this morning. 172 million barrels released in return for 200 million back within a year. Western Hemisphere is not really tight. It's mostly in Asia. And then he went on to say the Navy escorts, that was a big fiasco a couple of days ago. The Navy escorts can't happen now, but will happen relatively soon. He went on to specify by the end of the month. Only option on the table is to destroy Iran's ability to threaten neighbors and the Straits. So I know there's a lot of back and forth with this conflict here. This is a fresh interview from the Energy Secretary here this morning. All right, let's get back to Pro here. I'm going to start here with Ondas because I actually had to rub my eyes and make sure that I was reading it correctly here today. We'll go ahead and take a look at some of the news here for Ondas. Ondas and Palantir partner. Palantir partners with Ondas and Worldview to advance next-generation multi-domain intelligence platform. This is going to basically collaborate on some of their ISR goals. Now, I get asked all of the time, what do I think about this news? To me, a lot of this news has been really good, especially for Ondas, and this one is no change. I mean, how many times have we seen some of these smaller stocks announce some type of partnership or deal or funding with a company like Palantir or NVIDIA, the whole nine yards? Causes a lot of these things to run, frankly. For Ondas, this is going to elevate their autonomous drones and ground robots by pairing them with Palantir's software and Worldview's, high altitude coverage. This is going to help win larger multi-year defense and border security programs. So one of the things about this is that, well, in the short term, there's no near-term earnings catalyst. This is more of strategic positioning for the future. Additionally, I'm going to be interested to see if there are any questions about this strategic partnership when Ondas releases their earnings and does their conference call in 2 weeks here. That's actually scheduled for Wednesday, March 25th, before the market opens. I'd be curious to see if we get any other color on this. One of the reasons that that's the case is because there is no revenue impact that is quantified, and it will depend on future contracts. Now, that's great because we want to see more money reach the bottom line, but we're not seeing it just yet. Again, this is kind of more of a positioning for the future than it is for right now. So as far as the stock price goes, we're trading up by about 2.75% here. We've all seen Ondas release some news, trade up, trade back down, really kind of shake out over a session or two post news here. But without immediate financial guidance, I don't know how much it's actually going to move here today. However, long term, it's hard for me to see that this is anything but good. The timeline, from what I can deduce, is more medium term than immediate. Easy for me to say. Full integration across Ondas's portfolio is only expected to begin in late 2026. So shouldn't really affect anything here in the first half of the year. We're hoping for some more boom, if you will, in the second half of the year. Nonetheless, though, the PR reads pretty nicely. Palantir partnering with Ondas, basically being able to give more of that information. All of these Ondas drones are going to become another set of eyes for the Palantir platform. Got to think that is absolutely going to help defense and national security. So that's the news here on Ondas. If we take a look at the chart, one of the things that you'll notice is that we have so far held this trend line really kind of connecting some of these lows. I know we've pulled back from the $15 price. We've tried to trade back up with everything going on. It's maybe stalled that a little bit. If Ondas can hold this area, perhaps the next move is going to be up towards that 50-day moving average at 1102. A recapture of that hopefully sends us higher. And then obviously if we break these $15-ish all-time highs, giddy up, we are on a run here. So pretty good news here this morning. We'll see how it trades. Ultimately, I love this news long term. I can't wait to see how this company continues to execute. And I am just excited for the earnings in a couple of weeks here. Okay. It is what? 8:50? What tickers do you folks want to take a look at? Was there a piece of news that you're looking into? Are there stocks or any of that? Let me know what it is that you want to take a look at here. Did I miss any? Maybe. And good morning, Lion. It's great to see you. Let's see if I missed any tickers here. I don't think so. Oh, see, you guys were all over that interview. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. All right, you guys are going to have to let me know what tickers you want to take a look at. I can also see if there was any. Let's actually do that real quick. Let's take a look and see if there was any new news that happened while we were gone. Yeah, Bumble, that's trading up here. Dick's Sporting Goods, okay, they're trading up on pretty good earnings. Did someone ask about this? Yeah. I am him 25 asking about Firefly Aerospace. Shares are trading higher after the company announced a successful launch of its Alpha Flight 7 Stairway to 7 mission. I absolutely love that name. As a Led Zeppelin fan, I can't get enough of that. Stairway to 7 mission with a Lockheed Martin payload. Okay, I'll be honest, that this is not one that I follow here very often, but this actually reads quite well. Let's get the chart tool up here and let's take a look at ticker Fly. This is a good one, I am him. So here we are. We are up 18.5% on the back of this news here, looking at about a 24 handle. This is interesting. So this causes us to recapture the 100 and the 50-day moving average. Right away here, these become key levels. Can we close above these here today? Better still, if we continue to have maybe a secondary push after the open here, maybe, just maybe, we'll test that 200-day moving average at $26, $26.02, but for all intents and purposes, that's going to be $26. The RSI is supportive of a continued move higher here. We're in no man's land, basically right in the middle there at 57. So if this keeps going, I could absolutely see this trading up to the 200, maybe even trading above that. I would actually have to read through the PR a little bit more, but on the surface here, this sounds great, right? A successful launch of its Alpha Flight 7 with a Lockheed Martin payload. I think this is probably really good proof of concept. It's successful here. This to me reads really, really well. I am him. Let me know. Is this a long-term hold for you? Is this a recent trade? Are you looking to trade based on this news? One more thing here that's kind of jumping off the page for me. We have a extremely thick volume shelf from where we are right now all the way down to the volume point of control that's just beneath 20. And this pretty much goes all the way up to $30. So it's going to be extremely imperative that Fly take out this area here. It might take some work. I don't think this is going to happen in one day. And one of the ways we can kind of measure this is by seeing how many of these moving averages we capture. Let me see how the volume's doing on this. So on average, stock trades 3.2 million shares. We've done about 800,000 here today. With float of 157 million. I would guess that this is going to trade over the average 100-day volume. We'll see how this closes here today. First thing to look at, can we close above the 50? If so, we might have some more room to trade up to that 200-day. This is a good one. Really good piece of news here. Really good piece of news here. Okay. Y'all are giving me some more tickers. I absolutely love that. Manesh, you want to do ASTS. Okay, ASTS Space Mobile. This is one that we look at often here. This one is still riding the 20-day moving average. And actually, it's down 1% here, but is still holding above the 20-day moving average. The last time we talked about this, I believe it was right after this was recapturing the 50-day moving average. And yeah, I think that's what we were, because didn't we have 13 talking about that, and then maybe going back up towards the highs? I'll have to ask him. I can't remember for certain. We were unable to hold that 50. We very quickly coughed it up, and it actually looks like recently here we've kind of wicked above. So we've made some moves towards that 50-day, just haven't been able to take it out. Let me see if there was anything new here recently. I don't think so. Yeah, nothing today. On Tuesday, we had a grants temporary authorization for communications of the new Gen 4th launch, coordinated with AST Space Mobile spectrum restrictions. So I don't know necessarily where this is going to go right now, but just kind of looking at the chart, this is what I would use as my guide. Can we hold above this 20-day moving average? I would say that the longer we do, the higher the likelihood is that we recapture the 50. I love that the 50 and the 200 are pitched up. That means even if we move or roll over here, even for several days or maybe even a couple of weeks, we're not going to be in danger of any death cross. If we zoom out on this daily chart, the stock is making a series of higher lows across the extended time frame. That's all good for the trend. Look at the weekly chart here. Look at the weekly chart here. Basically pulled back to the 20-week, held it, and is now trying to move higher here. So this about $83, and then 86, 87. I think this area in here is going to be pretty key for ASTS Space Mobile, and obviously we'll see how this responds to some of the launches. Okay, I am him. Regarding Fly, you said it was a recent trade. I love what I was seeing. Yeah, I don't blame you. Hopefully you get some more there if we shoot up to that 200 on Fly. Okay, Hunter, you want to take a look at Archer. That's timely because we just talked about the Joby news and we took a look at the Joby chart. Now we'll take a look at the Archer chart in addition to that. Archer's coming up to a pretty key spot here. First of all, we were holding this support level for a couple of weeks. This actually goes back to the beginning of February. We recently lost that, and we've tried to recapture this trend line. This trend line originates back in October where the market really started trading sideways. Today, it actually looks like a test of this trend line might be on deck if the stock can not get out of its own way. We're down about 1% here in the pre-market at 637. Let me zoom in here and try and get you a more accurate spot there. I got this trend line here about 649. A close above this pretty much sets up a move towards the 20-day. A close above that probably puts us on deck to look at that 50. We actually did have a death cross here on Archer back in December of last year. We have since then moved lower, although that move lower, not really all that much. We kind of got caught at the support there initially. I know we've recently lost it. So let's see if we can recapture this trend line here real quick. And by the way, I wanted to take a look at the short interest on this one. 13.1% of the float shorted with 2.57 days to cover. If we compare that to Joby actually about the same, 10.5% of the float shorted with 3.19 days to cover. So looks like these are kind of coming to parity with one another. I also didn't think we had anything fresh here with this. Yeah, no fresh news here with Archer. And we did actually have some insider selling back on Monday, selling here at 646. Interesting. Remember, there's a number of reasons why insiders would sell. I don't see any insider buying if we take a look at the insiders tab. So, okay, we'll see where Archer goes here. Really, this is going to be all about the trend line. Can we recapture this? Can we do that in pretty short order? If so, we might be in good shape here. Okay, Marionette, you want to take a look at Lilly. There you go. Let's do that. Ticker LLY, Eli Lilly. This has been the absolute boss in the weight loss space or the GLP-1 space. This is an absolute monster stock. If you were holding this long-term, congratulations. This is also a pretty awesome stock to day trade. If you can really kind of time this up well, you can actually make some pretty good gains on this. The big thing with Lilly right now, we made this last leg higher here. We broke above the 673, and we've actually used that several times as some support, including recently here on March 8th, I think that is. March 6th. Friday, March 6th, we use this area as support. It actually looks like next here we have 100 and the 20-day test. That's going to be right up at about 1020. It's only 26 points away from where we're at now. Eli Lilly looks like it's down about 0.5% here. This is just trading with the market, it looks like, here in the pre-market. Let's take a look at the news pane and see if there was anything else in here. Eli Lilly could rejoin Abivax bidding if AstraZeneca misses the deadline. Okay, that's kind of an if-then thing. I'm not sure if that's affecting it here. Eli, and this was from yesterday. Eli Lilly investing $3 billion over the next 10 years in China to expand production capacity of its supply chain. See if what kind of impact that has. The stock has been a monster, and I think that if it can hold this area, we are probably going to make another move higher here eventually. I don't think these GLP-1s or GLP-2s or 3s are going anywhere. They seem to continue to release new and better products that have better and better results. So to me, this is one of those, much like Costco, this is one of those where if you have a good long-term view and a good risk tolerance for a stock like this one is an add-on weakness. Now, furthermore, I will say, just kind of thinking about Mark Petrino in the back of my head here, if we are to cough up this 973, I think there's probably a lot of room down to this 885. Yeah, there were some previous resistance areas in here, most notably 936. But I actually think if this pulls back and I would say this, if this comes back in and holds that 200-day, this would absolutely be a swing trade for me. It would be a little bit more than just a day trade as well. And Kathy here saying biotechs are a good place to hide out during a choppy market. I got to be honest, I would have guessed otherwise on that, but you trade biotechs a lot more than I do, Kathy. Do you have a long-term view on Eli Lilly? If so, remind me. I'm curious about that. Okay. All right, folks, I had promised you that we're going to have a full day here today. We've already got through a whole bunch. We've got 13 right around the corner. But once again, we are also running a webinar here today at 11 Eastern. Please check it out, especially for those of you that are interested in some of the hottest sectors here or AI in general. Benzinga is hosting a free virtual event this Thursday today at 11 a.m. Eastern. It's called The Hottest Sectors Retail Investors Are Watching Right Now, AI and What is Next. We're breaking down the AI boom, where the real opportunities might be and how investors are positioning in high growth sectors like AI, big data, and tech, all of the buzzwords that we check out regularly. You'll also hear about companies gaining exposure to these trends and the risks traders should be watching. It's free to attend, so what are you waiting for? Scan the QR code on the screen, hit the like, or click the link in the description and reserve your spot now. That's going to be an exciting one. I'm going to check that one out as well. Okay, really good stuff. It is time for the next segment. Let's go ahead and do our pre-market pulse. All right. Good morning, 13. How you doing? Happy Thursday.
Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, everybody. How are you? How is everyone in the chat?
Man, I'm doing great. I woke up today. I felt great. I was like, today's going to be a good day. And then I sat down and saw that Ondas has a partnership with Palantir. And I was like, yep, today is going to be a good day. That's going to be fun. So,
and it looks like it's about ready to make another move.
From your lips to God's ears, 13. Let's get it done here. All right. Where do you want to start? You want to start with some of the movers?
Yeah, let's get these movers out of the way. It's not going to be a very great list of movers today. The highest one that I see on the list here is up at 64% overnight change. That's the highest we've had. So no 100% runners today, and we don't even have anything really after that until the next mover, which is up 44%. So a little bit of a muted list today, but I still looked at them.
All right, let's start here with the first one, the one that is in fact up 60+%. This is going to be Tilly's. The ticker is TLYS. Tilly shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q4 financial results and issued Q1 sales guidance above estimates. You can see this stock traded up to about $3 yesterday. At the pre-market, it's a little bit weaker here today, but it really didn't break down and it didn't give back a whole lot. So I'm fairly optimistic about its prospects for trading here today. Quick peek at the short interest on this name, 5.72% of the float shorted, 16.18 days to cover. Now, one of the reasons for that is that it trades on an average 100-day volume of 283,000 shares. It's done over 18 million here today. So I wouldn't be blown away by that days to cover number, but keep that in mind because we might actually have some squeezy potential here on the stock. Float on this is 12.26 million. And then really quick, those earnings. So the EPS was 10 cent. It beat the 15-cent loss estimate. That's actually a pretty good EPS beat. Sales were 155.13 million. That beat the estimate of 148 million. And they see Q1 GAAP EPS of 34 to 27 cent loss. And they see sales of 119 to 125 million. That was versus the estimate of 108. So that's a pretty good guide too. 13, what do you think here on TLYS?
Well, I didn't look into why they anticipate an EPS loss that large next quarter. Probably has something to do with taxes, but I didn't bother looking into that. The earnings were great, massive beat on the EPS. Sales were great, and then of course, like you said, they guided much higher. The mid range was much higher than the estimate, the 108 estimate. So we've already given back some of the move that took us up to 310. Looks to me like 285 is now the big resistance area to recapture. Once we lost that when we opened in pre-market, we've had one attempt at trying to recapture it about 705 this morning. That led to lower prints. But we also have a bit of a trend line here based on all the price action going from the after hours into the pre-market here. So I would be watching for a move back over that trend line. And if we get that, then I think that 285 resistance level is going to come back into play.
Did you connect it through the two after hours ones, or did you incorporate this one in the pre-market?
I did, but it's for some reason it doesn't. I don't know why it looks so different compared to my broker, but yeah, the trend line goes right through that high in the pre-market. So
okay, so that's fine. So this is what it probably looks like on your screen. Very similar. Okay, yeah, we just chopped off the wick. We do that all the time. That's all. So.
Okay. So I'm just waiting for to see what the price does with this movie or this trend line here. We're right at VWAP and some of the other EMAs, so those have to hold up, and we're like testing them right now. So if those don't provide support, then it looks like the 65 EMA is going to continue to be under pressure.
Okay, really good breakdown. TLYS, and really quick, I actually should have covered this earlier. I'm sorry. Tilly's Incorporated works as a specialty retailer of casual apparel, footwear, and accessories for young men, young women, boys, and girls. Offers an unparalleled selection of relevant brand styles, colors, sizes, and price points. So I don't think I included that. We don't talk about Tilly's very often, but there you go. Okay, next on the list here is Orbs, and wow, this is the Dan Ives 8Co Holdings. This thing is ripping right now. I'm looking up at CNBC. I don't see Dan Ives in his bright colored suit anywhere, so I don't know that he's necessarily talking about it, but big move here. Actually, this next leg setting some new highs. All right, let me stop stalling. Let's actually get to what's going on here. 8Co secures $125 million in institutional commitments led by Bitmine, which is BMNR. Corey, what's up? Kathy Wood's ARK Invest, and Payward to expand into next generation technology. Bitmine is investing 75 of that 125 million. I got to think that this is Dan Ives using some of his connections here. This is causing the stock to pop 50+% here today. Huge reaction to this. Quick peek at the short interest, 5.45% of the float shorted with 6.16 days to cover. So, and you know what? Actually, so this days to cover, it's a little bit more today. Average volume, 4.5 million shares. It's done 43 million here today, but it still has that a little bit kind of a high days to cover given that average volume. The float on this is 197 million, so we'll see how this trades. Next leg is happening right now. 13, what do you think?
Well, I think this is such great news. I even like the way that the chart was looking. I took a quick little trade in this. I picked it up just underneath the VWAP, and I was out at 120. Didn't know if we were going to get a double top or if we were going to break through, but most of the time these end up resolving higher. So higher we go. Looks like to me the 120 area was a breakout, and it looks like that's what we're getting for now. Yep. How high this goes on the 5-minute chart? Let me look here, because that was the next level I was keeping an eye on here for a move, and we got that breakout. But let me look at the daily chart, see if I can get anything, because that kind of just moved on from what I was looking at. I think there was a level around 150 that looked interesting. Let me double check that here. So we're past that. We're in this consolidation from 120 to about 140. So we may see a lot of chopping around back and forth as we move through that. But if we can get through the consolidation, there's some more resistance a little bit higher up in the 160 area. So that's where
Okay.
I think some of the next resistance could be if we manage to get through this 120 to 140 area. We also have the 65-day EMA up at 190. So those are some potential upside targets, but we have to get through this consolidation first.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff there. You can actually see the consolidation right here on the daily chart. Okay. Good mention there on orbs. We'll see how this does. This is pushing right now. In fact, let me see if let me bring this up in my broker here. Yeah, indeed. So how about this? So this big impulse move, guess what? That actually did, in fact, create a fair value gap. That actually goes right here. Look at this. So this gap is now has now been hit. So it's no longer unmitigated. But big move higher, pulled back right into the top part of that gap, held one, and bang, away we go here on orbs. Okay, next here is going to be Himax. It looks like several of you folks are already looking at this here in the chat. That's great. This is ticker HIMX, Himax Techs. Himax shares are trading higher after Hunter Brook Media published a report on the company. Okay, let me see what that report was.
It's right beneath. Yeah, it's right beneath it. It's a stealth. This Hunter Brook is saying that Himax is a stealth supplier for NVIDIA's optics revolution.
Okay, and it has a Star Wars themed. Look at this, dude. Look at this.
Oh, that's so cool.
This is Death Star, Star Wars type. I mean, come on, dude. These are.
So wait, is the goal the thermal exhaust port or what?
I'm like trying to play. I'm like thinking this is a game here. What? Okay, let's get back down to brass tacks here. Anyway, this is the PR here for HIMX. It's driving it higher by 36%. We're currently sitting right around $12.50. Quick peek at the short interest on this, 2.34% of the float shorted with 3.53 days to cover. On average, the stock trades 1 million shares. We've done 5.6 million here today. Float on this is 132 million. 13, what do you think here about the stock, not the cool website that reminds us of Star Wars?
Yeah, I'm having a hard time getting past that.
Well, so is thinking about it because we're almost there and we need to stay on target.
So, this company has revenue. It looks like they're profitable, although that last quarter, they barely made more than $1 million. Balance sheet looks fine. I mean, it looks like it's a pretty well-run company, just at first glance here. Let's look at the chart, see if I can determine where we go from here. What a nice couple of days, or few days this has had. And we are getting pretty extended here. So what is the price at now? 12.47. Jeez. Well, okay. So, I get the sense that this may, fade. But if there's going to be some more upside, it looks like 14 is going to be a big resistance area.
I would say so too. That's from the impulse move that was back in January of last year.
Well, 13 to 14, because if you look even further to the left in 2021, there's this lot of topping out in this area, lots of consolidation as well. So that may prove to be a bit of a tough area to chew through with all those potential sellers in the way. It's also something of a trend line we can draw here with the highs from that era through the 2025 high. That takes us to about where the price is. That could be a resistance area. So just like that.
Yep.
So we'll see if that provides resistance or if we can manage to get through it and hit 14. If we do end up going through that and hitting 14, I would expect a back test of this trend line thereafter.
Okay. All right. Really good stuff here. HIMX. We'll see how that goes. I love this comment. Matthew here saying, would it be irresponsible to buy it because of the website lull? So I would say, especially since it's popping 37% here, yeah, you'd probably want to be very tactical about this. If you like it long term, you probably want to wait for a pullback. But I mean, I've been there before. I've bought something because I thought it was cool. You know how many cologne bottles I've bought because I've been like, wow, that bottle is sweet. Same with liquor bottles. Trying a new liquor, the bottle looks amazing. Oh, we'll try that. It looks cool. So Matthew, I've been hit with this before. All jokes aside here, I would not necessarily chase something that is up 39%. That has not worked for me in the past. I don't want to see you immediately enter pain after buying that. Okay. Next here, ATPC. This is a gape. Now, This one was on the scanner yesterday, right? We had another one that was similar to this, like ATXC or something like that. We had two. I'm pretty sure this one was on the scanner, especially early when it spiked higher. You can see we had the impulse move here from Tuesday. I'll check out the news for that. Now, effectively, we're breaking that resistance area that took 2 days to hold us down. The third one here, we're moving through in the pre-market. I'd like to see if it can hold
We just got news
the
on
back
this.
test. Say again?
We just got news on this. As I came on, they dumped news on this because when I was looking at this, they didn't have any news and had just gone through a recent reverse split, and it was running on Momo. And there was a potential NASDAQ, delisting because they were not within the requirements. They still need cash, so I, wouldn't be surprised if they did a capital raise. But there was no news on this until I had just come on. Because look at the time when they started reporting that they had regained compliance. It's right at 9 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah. I see it here. ATP Corporation regains NASDAQ compliance with the minimum bid requirement. Now, the one from March 10th here was a strategic collaboration with a UAE-based Citadel investment.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this global,
and it was running on that. And
oil, gas, petroleum products. Yeah.
It was running on that. And if you look at the chart, it continued to have some more movement on that. But I think the big thing here was that early last month, it had that NASDAQ delisting notification. They went through a 1-for-50 reverse split. Next up is the capital raise. They've regained compliance, but I think they still could potentially do that capital raise because I haven't seen any indication that they've been able to get more capital, more cash from anybody. So I still think that that's on the table.
Okay. Real quick here, Tracy, I got to highlight this comment. I think I know exactly what you're talking about. I thought the floor at the, this is the Big 12 tournament was cool. So I believe that you're referring to the college basketball tournament where the floor looked like it was almost like an electronic screen where it changed, right? Like they had like animations and stuff on it. Then I think they had a congratulations to whatever the team won. When I first saw that, I thought it was like computer animation or something on top of it. Was it the actual floor itself? I think I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't know enough about it, but I completely agree with you. I thought it was super cool. I know with hockey games on TV, the boards are like rotating ads and it looks really, really good. But when you're actually there in person, it's of course not like that. There are static ads that are pointed on this.
Apparently some of those teams don't like that court because it's too slippery.
Really?
It's an LED glass screen.
It's an LED glass screen. So it is, in fact, like, I'll tell you what. Now here's the thing. Those players, and I know that's, we'll get back down to brass tacks here in a sec. Those players need to be listened to because when you create something that's more slippery, there's actually like a safety hazard.
Injuries.
Yeah. And so that would be something to maybe look into there. I have no experience with it, so I don't know for sure, but I would be a little bit worried about that. Tracy, I agree with you, though. It looks really awesome. V-Tree says, I join your call daily. I would like to become a member. How? V-Tree, I see that you're joining us via X here, which is awesome. We always stream to Twitch, X, and YouTube, and we have viewership from all three of those platforms. But if you wanted to become a member, integrate more with some of the chatters that are regulars here, I would suggest that you join the YouTube stream. You can just go to www.youtube.com/@Benzinga, and you will see the live shows right at the top of our homepage there. If you're talking about Benzinga Pro, which is the actual tool that we use here, I can have someone from our onboarding team reach out to you, or you can reach out to our onboarding team, and we'll take care of you that way. We'd love to have you. We're always looking to expand our community here. Thank you for joining our call every day. Thank you. All right. Next, CDXS. Now, we've traded this before. I think that this was a monster one day when we had friend of Benzinga, Andy, or Mighty Soldiers Trades. We had him on one day live trading with us, and I'm pretty sure CDXS was a big time winner that day. This popped in the after hours, popped up to $2. It's come back in, but it looks like it's gearing here in the pre-market. This reported earnings last night after hours, so it had an 11-cent EPS that beat the 6-cent loss estimate, and it saw 38.9 million in sales that beat the 35 million in sales estimate. They also see fiscal year 2026 sales of 72 to 76 million. That is above the estimate. So you get the trifecta here on one of these little guys. Stocks holding higher by 41%, and boy, oh boy, it is making a move as we speak. Quick peek at the short interest. It's continued to climb a little bit here, reaching 10.31%. And by the way, 13, I did not mention this earlier, but as of 2 days ago, we have a new short interest print in here. So we did get our data updated. This is all pretty fresh. 10.3% of the float shorted, 8.55 days to cover. And on average trades, 1.3 million shares. Today, it's done 4.14 million shares. Here's a look at the chart. 13, break this down for a fraction for us. I'll be right back.
So the problem that I have with this one right now is that we're in this consolidation from late last year, the fourth quarter of last year going into the first month of this year. Basically November to January. This ever since we came down here at the beginning of November, we've gone sideways, and then we finally fell out of that sideways consolidation late in January. This is going to be a bit of an area where there could be some sellers trying to get out of there, and this is likely to happen all the way up to $2. Now, if we get through $2, we're going to have the 200-day SMA in the way at about 214, 215. That's probably going to provide the next area of resistance if we manage to get through two. So I would expect that we continue to try to push through this area of consolidation in the pre-market. Let me see what I got here on a smaller time frame, because that's what I see on the larger chart. And here on the 5-minute chart, really nice candle that we are getting right now. That's taking us up to the after hours high, where we ended up testing 2. We went right to 2 in the after hours, where that top of the end of the consolidation is, and we came right back down. This move that we're getting here looks to be of a little bit more volume than we were getting in the after hours. So maybe we come back up to 2, maybe we push through it. And like I said, if we do, 215 is going to be the next area of resistance. So if you're not already in this, I don't think I'd chase it. But if this does have a hard time getting through 2, and it comes back into, say, 185, 180 and finds support, that might be a good area to try and take the trade. But when we get to that point, if we even get to that point, we'll see how it looks. But right now, I'd be looking at $2 as the resistance area, like it was in the after hours yesterday.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense to me. 13, really good breakdown here. CDXS. We'll see if we can snap that $2 area. Let me also pull this up in my broker here real quick. Okay, I don't see any gap to take advantage of. I'll let you know if that changes. Okay, what do we got next here? Lightwave Logic. How much time do we have? 9 minutes. I got 2 more that I'm going to cover here. I guess we could also cover Woof. I think a couple of you were talking about that. So yeah, Kathy's asking for thoughts on. We'll get to that. Okay, next one here is LWLG. This is Lightwave Logic. I believe we've traded this before. Lightwave Logic shares are trading higher after the company announced a development agreement with Tower Semiconductor for high-speed optical modulators on Tower's PH18 silicon photonics platform. 13, you've talked about optics and sensors and all of that. Does this maybe fit into that theme?
Photonics. Yeah.
Photonics?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, another good theme me up here from 13. How about that? This spiked in the after hours yesterday, came back in, retraced about 50% of it. Sure looks like 650 is going to be a key spot to break if we're going to move higher. Quick peek at the short interest, 8.58% of the float shorted with 11.11 days to cover. On average, it trades 2.29 million. It's done almost that so far at 1.72 million. Floats 144 million. What do you think here, LWLG?
Let's see. Doesn't look like it has a whole lot of revenue, so it's losing money. It's got just shy of 35 million in cash, so probably has somewhere around 5 to 7 quarters of cash runway based on this the burn that they've got going on there. So it doesn't seem like they're going to need to raise capital anytime soon. Though with the way things have been expanding with some companies, they could raise capital in order to move expansion forward. That's really the only instance I could see them doing that right at this stage. And And then as far as the so high-speed optical modulators, one of the things that I've been talking about, and Ryan, you brought up, was the silicon photonics. It's basically chips that don't use the traditional electrons to for processing. It's basically light photons, and it's going to likely generate less heat. But there's a number of other challenges that are presented when you're going from electrons to photons. So this is still relatively new. It's something that I've mentioned that IBM has a lot of patents on. I think Honeywell has some as well, and maybe even Cisco. But silicon photonics is something that I think you'll see in a lot of communication applications. For example, let's say data centers or servers communicating with each other. It really cuts down on the latency to use silicon photonics instead of the traditional ones. So I think that's where you'll see a lot of those. As far as what Lightwave's doing, I would need to read some more into this about what their agreement with Tower Semiconductor is all about. But as far as the chart goes, sorry, let me pull this up here on my broker. Looks like we're having a bit of a time trying to get back over 640. A lot of consolidation in there ever since we came down to that level from the highs in the after hours yesterday. That high 744, so that 745 area going to be a potential resistance area if we manage to get back up there again this morning. But we need to get through this 640 area first, and if we manage to do that, we'll likely see 675 as I think maybe the potential breakout spot in this stock. So we'll see if we get all that. We got to get through 640 though.
Okay, 640 and 650. Those look like the two spots of interest right here, or up next, I should say. Okay, I actually already covered Bumble a little bit. They're basically trading up a lot on earnings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip that for right now and go to Wolf just to make sure we can get the stock that Kathy wants to take a look at here covered prior to the open. We still have 5 minutes. So we should have plenty of time. We actually talked about this a little bit, or this got mentioned by, I think, Bernhard last night. Bernhard, first of all, if you have this, congrats, because stock's trading up here by 20% here today. So GG's for you. This did pop here on better than expected Q4 sales results. Had an impulse move, pretty much gave almost a lot of it back yesterday, round tripped the move this morning, and then came right back on. So got to think that this is at least going to try this 290 area again, maybe even 3 if we bust above. I will say, I don't know what this stock's going to do, but this price action, this is kind of intriguing here. Also, one of the comments from yesterday is that, given the uncertainty in the market and possible recession fear and blah, 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 people are still going to spend their money on pets. And that is 100% true. I mean, maybe that will show through here in the stock. Good chart formation. Looking at the short interest, 16.85% of the float shorted with 14.89 days to cover. Look, I know we're not above that 20% of the float shorted threshold, but this still has some significant short interest and could be squeezy here today. On average, it trades 2 million shares. It's traded just shy of 1 million prior to the open, and the float's 92 million. 13, what do you think of Petco here? Ticker WOOF, WOOF.
It's a little bit of a concern for me. I don't like the amount of volume that's been traded this morning comparative to the other ones we looked at. We haven't hit 1 million yet. And when I look at the price action just in the pre-market here, there have been times where there were no trades happening. So that level of illiquidity is a little bit concerning for me. Maybe this does push through up to 3, but I don't know that I'd be sticking around in this thing for too long. I think when it comes to the earnings, they just beat lowered expectations. I think the bar was pretty low for this because when they guided, it was pretty stale. It was a pretty stale guide, in my opinion, and I think stale was probably better than the expectation was, which is much worse. So I don't know how great this is going to be. The volume is concerning for me. It's not as great as some of these other ones. So I don't know how much we're going to get out of this if we move beyond $3. So that's just my thought on this. Okay. Maybe it trades better than what I'm expecting, but I just have a concern about the lack of volume we're getting in this one.
Okay, TMDE, that's also on the movers list. That's been moving with the whole oil theme. And then just a quick look at Bumble here, because this actually did break the after hours high. This is actually a nice looking kind of triangle here that we're breaking above. So Bumble might be on deck here today. Let me very quick check the, I don't really have any unmitigated gaps that we should be aware of now. We'll see if that changes here. All right. 3 minutes till we open, less than 3 minutes here. Where do you guys want to go?
Bumble gap, you said? Bumble gap?
No, I'm sorry. You probably found something else there. I was talking about an intraday fair value gap for the purpose of day trading. But what do you see? What do you got?
Okay, so if you look at a daily chart on Bumble, we are in the
sorry.
We are in this consolidation here. But if we can get through it, and I think the top of it is about 390. There's a gap fill from 450 to about 525. That we could keep an eye on here, but we still need to see some pretty significant upside and manage our way through this consolidation. So if we get all that, we get up to 4, I think I'd be keeping an eye on that gap fill.
Yeah, gap fill is 450 to 525. Yep. So good mention there, 13. And I wasn't specific enough. So shout out to you. Okay, real quick here. Just I have to address this here real quick. Jane here saying, I got an email. It's my girl's birthday here today from Chewy. I love that Chewy does this. Zippity Doodah saying, you need Chewy to remind you of your daughter's birthday. That said, no. Chewy is doing the nice thing here and saying, hey, it's your pet's birthday. A lot of people view pets as part of their family. And I'm sure Jane absolutely loved getting that. I get those from, interestingly enough, I get a handwritten birthday card from my home insurance salesman. So it's always nice to be recognized like that. Chewy does a really good job. That's what this is about. Jane, keep smiling. That's awesome. Okay. Less than a minute. I'm going to flip over to the main workspace. We are set to go here pretty soon. Let's have a great day here today, folks. Looks like Oracle's trading higher in the pre-market. Okay.
We got 15 minutes.
And those optical names pulling back here per Kathy. AAOI, LITE, CIEN pulling back a little bit. I have more fun on my dog's birthday than my own, says Jay. Oh, that's relatable too. All right, we're open.
Because the dog's excited.
Absolutely. The dog loves you more than anything else in the world, no doubt. All right. We are open.
ATPC trying to turn around here from sinking into the open. VWAP's at 5.6. 563. So if we can manage our way through this 9 and 15 EMA, that would be the next resistance area. Orbs lower. We hit 130 and turned around. So this coming back down looks like we're entering the fair value area that Ryan outlined earlier.
Yep. But that gap is not unmitigated, so keep that in mind.
CDXS. This is coming up to that $2 area, and there is a large seller in the way. So if we get enough volume, we can push through that. But if not, then I think we come back in maybe towards the 185 area.
Okay, here comes that 2 test on CDXS. Wolf here, Kathy's saying, is above 3. Here's Wolf, bang, right to that 3 and above. Now, can this hold above? It's going to be the question, I think.
Oh, wow, look at that moving Wolf.
Who let the dogs out, Bri?
Light Wave is trying to push through this consolidation from the pre-market and for a move over 640.
Light Wave, that's LWLG?
Yep.
Light Wave Logic.
Looks like Tilly's is trying to make a move through that trend line we drew. It's right back up to it.
Here's Tilly's. S&P futures down here, a SPY down here out of the open. Going to wait that out and see if we get a bounce. Not going to try to play hero here. Okay.
Just looking around at the moment.
Check in on CDXS. Okay, CDXS through 2 here. Definitely wouldn't chase this. This for me, if I was trading this off the impulse move in the pre-market here, I'd at least be trimming around 2. No position though. S&P trying to hold on to 670 as we speak. 670.
Not only did we go through 2 in CDXS, we ran right up to that 200-day SMA and tapped it. That was up at 214. We hit 213. So getting a little bit of resistance from that now. If we want to see some support here with from the 195 to the $2 area where we broke out of.
Okay. Buffalo by Bicycle mentioning that Ondas is coming in. So it seems like Izzy is having his $1 million question, as he put it, answered here. Will Ondas give it up? Remember, one of the things that I saw about this PR here is that it's more about strategic positioning than near-term earnings. And with earnings coming in 2 weeks here, perhaps it's not generating the as much excitement. That being said, we pulled back down to the 65 EMA. Actually, we pulled down to the 200 EMA. It looks like we're trying to bounce from this area, trying to hold on to 10 here. Ondas up 2.5%.
I still have Ondas inside of a uptrend in the parallel channel. So until it breaks that, I still think that we could try for more highs. It's we just can't start falling beneath, in my opinion, 950.
And so I suspect that this is kind of what you're looking at there.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah, 950. Look at that, 13. That is right on there. So we'll see. We are still in that parallel channel. We'll see how this goes. Good stuff there on us.
Light wave is pushing higher, looking to take out 650. That's resistance. There's a seller in the way as well.
Here is Lightwave. Remember that 650. That's what we were talking about earlier. Jay, talking about CF. That was one of the fertilizers, right?
Yes, that was brought up last night in the happy hour. Just absolutely fantastic that we're all getting these same tickers mentioned here. Love it. So this thing, wow, what a great call that was yesterday. Look at this move. Just blasted through that trend line that we drew. I don't know if you ended up drawing it, but I have a trend line here that we that was providing some upside resistance. Had been doing it since pretty much the entirety of 2025 and since October of 2024. Finally broke through it today. Love it. Lightweave continuing to push higher, looking good here. Looking for 670, I think it could be next.
Bumble at 4. So Lightwave and Bumble looking pretty good from some of our movers here.
What do you mean? Come on, 13. What did I say, Mo? What did I say?
Yeah, I don't
know what I said.
By the way, so we talked about SPY trying to defend 670. It did that, and it traded up to the VWAP and stopped there. So it has not been strong enough to take that VWAP out, but SPY did bounce here a little bit.
I agree, Kathy. WLG is looking pretty good. Another, let's see. So Wolf went up to 312. Haven't pushed beyond that yet. CDXS, we already talked about that. We're still holding above 2, which is a good sign. We need to hold above, I think, 195 to 2. Maybe we could probably even drop it down to 190 where the VWAP is, but we need to hold above VWAP. Orbs, this is still coming in. Meanwhile, BMNR, this thing was taken off out of the gate here, coming up to some resistance around the 2125 area. Also getting some good move out of Velo.
Mo said it sounded like you cut him off. Look, 13 and I, we do get excited here in the morning, and occasionally that happens. No hard feelings there at all. So 13's got a ton of good information. Tons of it.
I wouldn't interrupt him unless I felt it was absolutely worth it.
I've known him long enough to trust him without even having to double check it.
BMNR also having I think I mentioned this, but it's having a good morning here. Looking like it's trying to move up to the 2149 high from yesterday. We had kind of some of the similar movement yesterday where we just out of the gate just started rocketing up and we ran into resistance around 2149. So maybe we end up seeing that again here today. ONDS, recovered off of that drop out the gate. We went down to 985 and turned around, recaptured the 65 and the 200 EMAs. Not able to recapture VWAP, so still under pressure there. Lots of sellers starting to stack up above 10.
Okay, mentioning Oracle Rocket, that was actually up earlier. Did that continue here? 166.87.
Okay. So Oracle still trying to get above the 50-day SMA. Looking at a daily chart here yesterday, that was the big level to get over. It was rejected, even though we printed as high as, what is this, 172? No, 170, 176, pretty close. Here we are, and again today with another move up here, trying to get through the 50-day SMA. And I have to ask you, Ryan, how confident are you that this 2-day move being a bit of a floating island?
I'm sorry, I was answering a question for a coworker here. What stock are you looking at?
The one you're looking at.
Oracle, and you're saying 2-day move here for a floating island? Well, okay. So no, I don't. So this is just a gap to me. This is not an island. If you look to the left, there is immediate price action right at it and higher.
So we need to kind of break out into blue sky territory and hold above there?
Yeah, for the best possible results of the floating island formation that I speak about, you want it to be a break to new highs. Now, what you're seeing here, though, this is definitely notable, right? Like if we hold this 163, I think we probably want to try higher here, but this would not meet the criteria for a floating island.
All right.
That SPY bounce continuing. It actually looks like we're trying to push through the VWAP now. 671 is your price there. We also, our tick chart is actually still in the negative here, but it is up off the lows. We had an opening tick or a low post the open of minus 1329. We are about minus 300 now. That tick chart looking to go red to green.
Yeah, just looking at an intraday chart, like a 5-minute, I see what happened yesterday. Where we, as soon as we got over 170, we struggled to hold above that. Only really one close above 170 on a 5-minute chart, and then we came right back in. So, we're going to want to see if we can get above and hold above that 170 here today. That would also give us I believe, a recapture of that 50-day SMA as well. So that'd be a good thing to see. Yeah, the 50-day SMA is at 167.50.
And Orbs, this was getting mentioned earlier here. Orbs trading down. Looks like it might be trying to find some support there at that 65 EMA, but this thing gave up that big move it made in the pre-market. Hopefully everyone's okay on that.
Yeah, it's interesting. If you look at on a 5-minute chart a couple days ago, this is the area where we were getting support, and then when the market opened, it just completely dropped. So this is, I think this is a little bit of what is that? Where you're afraid of something happening again. I can't think of the word, but this is I think where the buyers are going to try to step in, so that we don't get put back down underneath the dollar.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I mean, look, I think this is what you're talking about, right? This $1 level that lines up nicely with the chart from Monday.
Yeah. So we'll see if the buyers step in right here, because it's starting to look like they're trying to do that. And then VWAP 110, that's going to be resistance. Looks like Oracle wants to run up to 170. It does. It does look like that.
Apprehensive, is that the word? Bob, that sounds like it fits.
It probably. Yeah, I would say so. Pola, I remember this one from a long time ago. This had a nice 2-day move here. Had some pretty big volume this morning. I don't know what the news was yesterday, but this is a company that has these power generators. And you typically see this stock move when there's some kind of major weather event that calls into question the reliability of power systems staying online. So whenever you have like a hurricane or a snowstorm, you tend to see this one get some attention. So I don't know what's it's moving on here today. Let's see here. I don't see any news since January. Float's very small, so it wouldn't be surprising if this was just, and maybe it's also on the conflict in the Middle East as well. But yeah, this typically runs when there's some kind of weather crisis.
That move in the SPY looks like it really couldn't hold above the VWAP. We're kind of rolling over a little bit here on the SPY. Let's take, oops.
Where's resistance in LWLG? Let's see, I thought I had mentioned that, because I think we were looking at 6 maybe being a spot. Let's see here.
I was thinking 6. I think we discussed 640 and then 650. Yeah. Now it sure looks like the 740 area is going to be the high.
We're in some consolidation right now with the 7 area, and I do see some sellers in the way at 690 and at 7. So we could be coming up to some resistance just above 7 or at 7. And if we manage to get through that, the next area is going to be, well, maybe it's going to be 8. I would think more like 750. So we'll see if that you can just look to the left and see these different levels. 750 looks like a really big area. So does 8. But that's if we can get back above 7.
ATPC, this is right at its VWAP right now. It is trying to bust through that.
Yeah.
SXTP getting mentioned here by Supric. This actually looks like 350 is the resistance that we tested once already here today. This was indeed a mover from yesterday.
Yeah, Jay, Velo, been fantastic.
You trimmed this yesterday, didn't you?
And then I picked up a little bit more again after it came back in, yeah.
Oh, man, that's even better. I have 2 register rings to hand out then, one for 13, and then one for Lion for taking profit on CNQ. Way to go.
And then, I don't know if Jay ended up making any trades. I think he might have, but he may need a register ring as well if he got some profit in Bello.
Say less. He said ditto. Hey, great
Excellent.
traders think alike. Love seeing it. ATPC through that VWAP. So we busted through that VWAP. I think we're up to that 643, maybe $6 as your next resistance.
Orbs, this current candle has less than a minute left to recapture $1. I think we come down to the 65 EMA. It looks like Lightwave trying to push beyond the session high. It looks like it still wants 7. ONDS coming down to 10. Big knife here in CDXS. There's a seller walking this down right now. ATPC.
Boy, so that was dirty, right? They popped it above 2 and then immediately reversed it. That seller selling into that liquidity, it looks like. So you guys were talking about CF and some of the fertilizers. I am noticing some MOS calls here today.
Yeah.
MOS, this had another good run right along the back of CF there. There might have been another stock in there. In any case, this tried to push higher here today, but it's still holding right around 30, and we are starting to see some call buying on it. Take profit as you go. Sorry, 13. Take profit as you go. That's Lion's recommendation. Not a bad recommendation at all, frankly.
ATPC now trading above the VWAP. It's trying to get back above 6. A couple other names that I'm keeping an eye on here. Well, Bello is trying to push back over 15 again here, but GSIT, remember this one that we got?
Oh, yeah. And really quickly, sorry, Hymex, this is right at the VWAP. Let me go to GSIT next, though.
Yeah, this is a custom semiconductor company. This should get a lot of attention this year. And then let's see, you were talking about HYMX, right?
HIMX. That was being mentioned by Kathy. It's right there at VWAP.
Big seller on the way at 12. Volume expansion, can get past that, but we're not seeing that quite yet. Need to see volume really expand here. Orbs not able to recapture $1. Looks like we're testing the 65 EMA next.
And that SPY bounce, indeed, new lows. So that SPY bounce right up to the VWAP. We traded right back down to 670. We actually broke beneath it.
Light wave through 7, coming up to the after hours high of 744. We could either find resistance there or we could blast right through it and continue higher.
Tom, I'm sorry I didn't get to this earlier. I've seen you mention it a few times. Roma here. This is Roma Green Finance. Excuse me. This has been straight up out of the open. So I actually don't have any entry on this one. Let me go to the 5-minute and see if there was anything. Yeah, I guess this did kind of pull back to the VWAP here. This gave you $1 if you entered that. This wasn't on mine. Volume looks good here. Price action looks good here. Let's see what the daily chart looks like on this one. 8 looks to be the next level here. We've got a pretty big gap beneath. Man, this is, if you're in this one, this is good. I have no position on this myself, though.
I guess I'm wondering what's moving this, but this seems like this is a like a Chinese stock. It's in Hong Kong. So yeah, I don't know what this is going on, but it could just be being pumped.
Yeah, here, this is good stuff here from Trey. As per usual, Himax is up on news after an article that stated it's a hidden supplier for Taiwan Semiconductor and NVIDIA with some interesting tech. AAOI was down a little bit from the same article.
Interesting.
Didn't I? Let me see. I think this is that report that we talked about earlier, the Hunter Brook Media report. I linked that in the chat. Let me do it again here for anyone that might have missed it or joined a little bit later. Here's the report being referenced for Himax and AAOI. I just saw UMAC flash on the scanner there. That's another drone name. That had a big move yesterday. Looks like it's up another 3% here today. UMAX. So this is actually beneath yesterday's intraday highs. We did take that out initially, but we pulled back.
Did you ever play that really old Star Wars games where it looked like it was just all wireframes? I'm talking like, early 90s, maybe late 80s.
Like the Super Nintendo Star Wars titles?
No, I'm talking about like how we got with this Hunter Brook website. It looked very much like this.
No, I mean, no, there were Star Wars games like that. No, I don't think so.
I bet I could find it.
You know what? Yeah, if you find me a screenshot, I'll be able to tell you for sure. So SPY trying to recapture 670.
Okay. Got it. I will link this for you and you can watch it on your own time, but this was like the earliest experience I think anyone really had with Star Wars games. It was a sit-down console. You just sat in it like you do a lot of these games in arcades where you're driving a vehicle and like Cruising USA, for example. But you were in this thing and it had wireframes and you were moving around and shooting. It was remarkable for its time. Matthew,
where did you send this to me?
It's right in the chat.
Oh, yeah, I can't click on that. Can you send it in the private chat? I can click on links from there.
Sure. Boop. There it is. All right. Anyway, back to the markets. So Orbs, it's still got some fight in it, trying to get back above $1. And if it does, maybe we do see that return to VWAP. CDXS giving a lot of this back. This also coming down to its 65 EMA. It looks like 170 is providing some support. LWLG continues to push higher, finding some resistance toward the 744 high from the after hours yesterday.
Oh, dude, really quickly, that video, that's a blast from the past. I did play that in the arcade. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I played that game. Yeah, absolutely. Never owned that one myself, but played that in the arcade.
I don't think you could ever own that.
Oh, okay. That's why then.
Yeah, that was only like that was like an arcade only type game. I don't remember it being on any consoles, but I was also very young, so some older folks might be able to recall if that ever made it to console.
I actually never owned an Atari. The first console I owned was a regular Nintendo.
Yeah, see, Matthew played that game a ton. He knows.
If you know, you know. Woof, by the way. So this has been pretty good. This not only went through 3, but it's actually taking the next leg higher. More new highs now. 320 on Woof. Roma, by the way, Tom, I'm terrible. As soon as I started talking about Roma, that marked the top, and it came in a little bit. I'm sorry, dude. Should have mentioned that when you had first mentioned that. Might have been a little bit better there. Then here, sell. Thank you, Selena. Some of those stocks. So we were talking about CF earlier, making a pretty decent move. We also talked a little bit about MOS, Mosaic, making that move. Sell here, giving us more related on that theme. Dow, which is, DOW. This is going to be Dow Incorporated. And then also NTR and LYB. And I'll tell you what, Selena, these all look the same. It looks like this is the theme that is moving. And all of these moving with it. Appreciate that shout there on other stocks in that theme.
Yeah, I wrote about a little bit. That's in my recap from when we were talking in Happy Hour, and I said with regard to CF, with oil supply risks also come fertilization and food inflation risks. The Strait of Hormuz being under conflict has caused prices of fertilizer to experience a sharp and volatile rise. Though the price of the company's stock has become extended this month, it could still climb higher following some cooling. Seeing as how we didn't get that. I get the sense that there may be an instance where we could fill this gap that we created down to 120. So, because this is very extended on the daily chart, I think it's also extended on some other longer time frames. Very extended on a weekly chart, monthly chart also extended. So, I get the sense that we're due to come back in and test support, and I think if we do that, 120 is going to potentially be the spot.
Here's LWLG 750 might be coming up here. This is a nice move here. I'll tell you what, these movers were better today than they were the rest of this week.
I think we had some pretty good. What was that day where we had a really big green candle? Wasn't it this week?
It was Monday.
Was it Monday?
On the SPY?
Yeah. Was it Monday or Tuesday?
It was Monday.
Monday. I think that was one of the better days, but it was like in the back half of the day.
Yeah. It was after the market finished doing its little thing in the morning. It reversed really hard in the afternoon.
We're getting some pretty broad line pullback here across a lot of names that I'm looking at in the market. Bella coming in, GSIT coming in, ATPC was coming in a second ago, but still trying to push into that pre-market high. ONDS came down. Orbs still trying to recapture a dollar. Tilly's, that's lower and coming in to some of the lows from the pre-market as well. 233 is a low I have. Looks like we're headed either there or slightly lower at 230. CDXS also lower. LWLG finally putting in a red candle for the first time this morning, though it looks like there's still some buyers trying to support it. This has the resistance at 730. There's a seller in the way there. Wolf just hit a high of 322. That's starting to weaken, it looks like. And then Hymax, we already hit the high in the pre-market. We haven't been back up there since, but it's kind of going sideways right now as it tries to recapture VWAP. And then, of course, Roma, this thing, only briefly pulled back a moment ago, still trying to push higher through 750, where there's a seller.
Kathy bringing up LXU as another possible fertilizer/chemical play.
Jay, yes, that is a bigger problem than the Middle East right now. I think the private credit.
That's private credit, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think private credit has been showing some cracks for some time before we even had this conflict. So it's something that I've been pointing to the XLF. I've been saying, look at what the XLF is doing. We have our first open and potentially close. It depends on how the rest of this month goes. On the monthly chart, we've lost a 20-month SMA. First time we've done that since October of 2023. I think that is significant. And if we continue to stay underneath the 20-month SMA, I believe that we're going to be headed lower to towards $40 or 42. Somewhere in that range, I believe, is where XLF is going if we cannot recapture the 20-month SMA by the end of the month.
Okay. Really good stuff there. Trey, SPY and Q's directly at the bottom of some SR clouds of mine, which are pivot points. We also have some moves either way soon. IWM already broke its cloud down. Yeah, I'm interested to see if this actually catches anywhere, if we do bounce at all. SPY here, 668 now. And then we had said, let me go back to the chart here. Let me get that exact number.
Sorry, Roma through and just taking off right now. It blasted through 750 and it ripped, and now it's going to halt.
Roma's going to halt here, 772.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so on the SPY here, that level that we were talking about, 667.34, that's going to be the bottom end of this kind of support area, previous breakout area, 667.34. We'll see if we get down there.
Well done on Roma. I forgot the gentleman that was,
it was Tom.
Tom.
It was Tom. Yep.
Well done, Roma. Just blasted through 750, and now we're halted. I don't know what your plan is at this stage, but I'm sorry.
He already took his gains. He's got profit booked on Roma.
All right. Well, I don't hear that register ringing.
You're right. Thank you for staying on top. That's the register ring we've been waiting for.
Oh yeah. Meanwhile, a lot of other names still having a hard time. Looks like Ondas is trying to get back above and hold above that VWAP. This has been under pressure with the 10 handle all morning. It's just, that sideways consolidation that we're trying to get back into. Maybe more volume, we get back up there, but for your long-term play, I just keep an eye on that upward channel.
Yep, and that's here on the chart. That's the light blue highlight that you're seeing. Bumble holding 37% higher here. Is anyone swiping right or swiping left on Bumble?
That's funny. And I know about Bumble, but I think this is more what I'm looking for. It's not so much like Tinder where you just kind of speed running through profiles. I think there's a little bit more. It's a little bit more nuanced, but I don't know because I don't use these dating apps.
Me either. I wish I could give you some insight on that, but I don't know either. Lion, take care of yourself.
Take care, Lion, and anybody out there that does use trading apps, let me know. Let me know what you think about Bumble and
well, here Dara saying I met my partner on Bumble.
Oh, perfect.
So there's a good success story.
And how, and like, I don't need a whole report, but I'm interested to know, like, how long did all that go on for? Like, from when you started, like how many months? And was Bumble, did you kind of get the experience from Bumble like you got, like people get from, I think it's eHarmony, where they're kind of like, matched up, I guess for lack of a better word,
Isn't
better.
Bumble the one where the woman makes the first move?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. So I'm curious if there's, that's kind of what I'm wondering for Brian, if Bumble is more into building relationships and not so much hookups like Tinder is.
I see. So a more serious site.
Do I see a base on UPS down below $100? Yeah, I jumped out of that at 115. So I don't have UPS right now, but
we can take a look at the big chart if you want.
I'm keeping an eye on it because I still like it. I mean, it's the dividend is just absolutely juicy. We've got a rejection here at the 200-day SMA. So, I have to wait 30 days if I'm going to pick it back up because I don't want to trigger the wash sale rule. So I'm just being patient, waiting for this to come back in. It looks like it's likely going to have a date with the 90s, the low 90s, I would say. As far as a floor goes or a bottom, I mean, I don't know. I would think that the low 80s, where we were getting support earlier, is going to be one area. I'm just not sure right now at this stage. I think we need to kind of just temper expectations while we have this Iran conflict going on, because I think that's going to create some overhead for UPS with their fuel costs. So I can't say exactly where the bottom is going to be, but I would think that you're going to find some support in the low 90s initially here. But I can't say for certain where we're going to start to reverse.
Real quick on UPS, I'd love to see a break and recapture of this 200. If we get that, I would think that, we probably, this bottom that we put in here in the 80 handle, mid 80 handle, I think that would probably be pretty good as far as a trade here. Give me a dip and recapture and a close above. That would look. And by the way, really quick here. Sorry, 13. I'll get you back in here, but I am blown away. The goods saying met my wife on Bumble as well. Use several apps and it's a numbers game to find the right fit. Go Steve D said I met my lady of over 7 years on Bumble. Wow. And my producer is telling me that he met his significant other on Bumble. They're married now. And this show might need a Bumble sponsorship. I mean, judging by all of the success the group has had here, might need a Bumble sponsorship.
Benzinga. Our chat trades on Benzinga and finds their spouses on Bumble. UPS. Now, there was a GB slice, 82. I like that area, and here's why. That's my lowest level I have marked off. That's where I was looking for, really starting to pick this up for the move that we were getting off the bottom. I like 82. I don't know that we're going to necessarily go back to that level, but I think that if we do, I believe there could be some further downside risk. I'm not really keen on wanting to see 82 again, but I like that area because that's where we've been, bottoming out. After we bottomed out in 2020, that's where we bottomed out late last year. So the concern I have is that if we continue hitting that area, we're going to end up losing it. So I would love to only see that go down there once, reverse, and then not see that for a very long time.
By the way, Roma is open and higher, 790, 794, 97, 8. Wow. You know what? Whoever was on Roma, including Tom, register rings abound for you folks. What a move there. Roma Green Financial.
Oh, fine job, Jay. He's trimming at 1505. Bello. It is a nice move.
More trim.
82 would be a big drop. It's actually, beyond that, we're getting into 13-year lows beyond 82. Not necessarily interested in seeing it go that low. I would, like I said, if we get down there, I would love to see that be support, turn around, and just rip back through the 200 and continue higher up towards 140. Bello is still climbing. 1515 now the high.
Roma 857. What a blast off. Now this thing went right to 857 and pulled back a little bit. But if this takes another big move higher here, this might be a second halt potential.
Look where we were not too long ago on the 2nd of February, 888.
Yep,
Wouldn't be surprised if we go up there.
There you go, Tom. This was a good one. I am very sorry I didn't get to this earlier. Let me know if you have a pullback area here. I don't have any fair value gaps that I'm necessarily looking for here. That last pullback to the VWAP was a pretty decent buy area. Oh, what? Carlos saying Dan Ives is stepping down as 8Co chairman? Orbs? No, was that in the PR here? Where did you get that from?
Let's see. 8Co, this is from Barron's. 8Co says Dan Ives stepping down as chairman. This came out 19 minutes ago, although there are some. The SEC.gov says
Barron's. Okay.
SEC actually has a filing that from 52 minutes ago. 52 minutes ago that says that he was stepping down. The board appointed Kevin O'Donnell.
I'll be damned. You're absolutely right, guys. Great call, Carlos.
Yep.
I mean, could that be one of the reasons it's moving back down?
It wouldn't surprise me.
He's been a big promoter of this. So, and he's very, very well known. So.
Hymax. We're coming up to 12. There's a big seller in the way there, and it looks like the stock's trying to curl. So if we get an expansion of volume right here, we could see a big move through 12.
13 would be the target on that move. And this is also holding the 15 EMA on the 5.
Just need that volume component. ONDS, what a great reversal that was. New session highs. We blasted through all of that consolidation in the pre-market.
Lego.
Tom Lee joined the board of Orbs. That's interesting.
When he became chair, it went up 50-fold, but now Orbs got $100 million funding from Tom Lee. Okay.
Yeah, Jay, oh man, look at this. Oh my God. Oh what? Man. Dollar General, they had earnings today. I'm so glad I got out of this. I think it was last week, but I had texted you when I jumped out of this thing.
Oh yeah.
And now here we are, because I was out at in the 150s, and now here we are at 135 again. Oh man.
Okay. Don't you love it when a plan comes together, 13?
Oh yes, yes I do, Hannibal. Tom Lee is Orbs. See, I thought he was BM&R, but I guess he's that too.
I view him as BM&R just because of all of that.
Mm-hmm.
All of that stuff. Someone was asking about Poet earlier. We hadn't looked at it. I'll do that here real quick. Then we can take a look at Rubric if you want, Matthew. Here's, oh man, no wonder you had mentioned this. So this did move in the pre-market. I don't think we covered it. Shame on me. Came back into the 15 EMA, actually really dipped to the 65 EMA and then popped back. But now this pushing away here looks like it's trying to take out that pre-market high. Would say that this really has to hold above 8.
Matthew wants to look at RBRK.
Yep, that's Rubric.
They have earnings today after hours. So let me get off a monthly chart here, see if I see anything else. Got that. Okay, so we recaptured the 20-day SMA, been holding above that nicely, holding above the consolidation from February. So I think the next thing we need to see here with this is a recapture of the 50-day SMA. That's going to take us over 60.
Earnings today after hours, 13.
Yeah. That's what he was saying. Cyber resilience.
I'll tell you what, Trey, all over this stuff here. Really appreciate you connecting a lot of these dots here. Poet was also a beneficiary of the same article as HIMX.
I think this is why you need to read those articles. And he read it and he knows.
Yep, you're exactly right. Good stuff, Trey.
Yep. And with Rubric, the recent cyber attack that we had on what's that medical device company?
Stryker. Kathy was talking about. That's a Michigan company.
I wonder if Rubric's going to, be mentioned alongside that in their conference call. I wonder. And it's interesting because it didn't really have a whole lot of great price action in the morning. I mean, it was very, very thinly traded. And then as soon as we opened, we had this big drop down. Still under 1 million shares traded though. But I'm just kind of wondering, is this drop just getting out before the earnings print? Is there something wrong?
Yeah. Does somebody know something? Now the volume's not huge, but it is all in one direction here. And then Tom mentioned this. Roma is halted to the downside. Yep. This is actually halted beneath the VWAP. So in addition to this down plunge into the halt, it actually coughed up the VWAP as well.
Yeah, and we are right back down, right near our 720 breakout spot.
Ondas popping.
Yep, Ondas popping. Also Velo pushing up higher into the 15 handle. Thank you, Jay, for the mention on Dollar General. That's fine. I don't own it anymore. This was a fantastic year-long trade that I'm out of right now. But they do come in significantly. I may end up getting back into them as well.
I'll never forget 13 clubbed me over the head with some DG due diligence. Ended up making me some money off that last year. I didn't hold it nearly as long as you did, though.
I have a great story to tell you about DG and my a couple of friends. And one of them is my financial advisor, and he talked with other financial advisors, and they were also talking about Dollar General, but they were very, very early. So they were starting to get into that, and their clients were starting to get into it before that big drop that they had that led to the consolidation. That I bought it. I bought in the final consolidation. I didn't buy ahead of that big drop. And my FA and I were just kind of joking back and forth with them about how they bought too early. And it's just been a fantastic trade. We had a great time with that one. Velo is continuing to climb higher. Jay, we are loving this.
Path here actually looking like this might try and break and go towards 12 on Path. The SPY looking a little bit more constructive here. It's kind of trading sideways along its VWAP. See if this can push and move higher here.
Path actually gap filled. We opened lower and gap filled all day. Yeah, look at the daily. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We almost have that. We did fill it, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. Now, if we filled it up to the wick, if we want to go to the real body, that takes us to 12.
12, yeah. And okay, there you go.
Now, the question is, once we hit 12, do we start retreating? I think I'd be at least, I'd be trimming at the least and taking profit at the most.
AVAV also trying to fill that gap. You're right, Joe. AVAV having a nice day. This actually above yesterday's intraday highs. Remember, that fell from its earnings. So we almost have this gap filled up here. I would say 222, 222.
Retro, I think that we've already started to see that with Stryker. And then there's also that FBI announcement about the West Coast potentially getting hit with drones. So I don't think that you're wrong, but I don't think that this is, we'll see what happens. But I don't think this is something that we should be getting incredibly fearful of. That's what they want.
Alex Karp was on CNBC earlier saying that enemies are figuring out that we are fighting a different type of battle now with the help of Palantir, and that giving the U.S. an advantage. Really quick, 13, I don't know if you had time to dig into the Ondas PR here today, but they're basically partnering with Palantir so that the drones and the optical sensors can join the Palantir network. It's basically a bunch of other eyes.
Yep. And pretty soon all the soldiers on the ground are going to be wearing meta glasses.
Yep. And they're going to be able to pipe into those other video feeds, know what's behind walls, what's over vast distances.
Oh, man. Yeah, they won't need meta glasses for that. I think Actionable has that technology locked down. I think that's what they were using in Venezuela.
Wouldn't be surprised. Also, speaking of drones, all the drone names doing pretty well here today. I know we focused a lot on Ondas because of the news. RCAT higher here by 2.6%. UMAC was also making a pretty good move. That's up 9%. Look at UMAC. Look at the move here on UMAC.
HIMAX weakening. It's falling out of consolidation. This may fall towards 1050. Orbs now trading beneath the 65 EMA. Finally, a green candle, but it's beneath the 65 EMA. ONDS still holding above the consolidation from the pre-market. Wolf looking a little weak here. Momentum has slowed. Careful with that one.
And Roma's still halted, by the way. I do have that up on my other screen here. SPY is still trying to bounce. So is the entire market trying to bounce here. We are above the VWAP. We're at 670. We have recaptured that here on the SPY. I think I'd like a recapture of 673 personally. I don't know if we'll get that here today.
We had a mention here, and I keep looking back at it, but Ed Edwards. Yeah, Ed Edwards was mentioning Sidaspace, SIDU.
Okay.
They received a, well, I don't see any news here, but I think because we are getting so much, camera and sensor news, that some of those other companies that are, part of that are also going to be, getting a little bit of a lift. And I think that's why you're seeing some of this, because Sidaspace's Lizzie satellites do have cameras and sensors. So I don't know if it was mentioned in that article, but I would guess that that's why we're seeing some movement here with Sidaspace. I don't know any other reason why this is moving.
Bitcoin, by the way, this is trading higher here. Bitcoin making a run at 71K on that futures chart. Oil's still up 8.75% today.
And what are those about, Jay? Thanks for recommendation. Bitcoin will dump too. I'm expecting Bitcoin, and I know
there's Tenzin. Tenzin, we missed you.
I know I'm kind of in the minority here, but I expect Bitcoin to kind of trade back and forth. Roma's open, trade back and forth quite a bit for a little while. That's just my expectation.
Roma's open and a lot lower.
Yeah.
Boy, this actually might be another downside halt here at 589.
Yep.
It's a trap.
Since we're on the Star Wars theme this day,
I mean, look at the chart though, dude. Like the chart, I know it's hindsight now, but the chart looks like just trappy, right? Just sucked in all these buyers.
It's as red as a Roma
volume
tomato.
Stick up to the high and then boop, dump.
ONDS pushing higher though, trying to anyway. Still hasn't broke 1040, the high that we put in about 10 minutes ago, but it's sniffing it out.
USO at the highs for anyone trading oil. CDXS, you guys were mentioning this one earlier here. This came all the way back to its 65 EMA, but did not break down further. So maybe it curls. Bumble, see where this is at now. This kind of came back to Earth, actually beneath its VWAP.
Jay, it's George Miller, or is it the other one, Ogilvy? USO would have been nice trading the last few weeks. I mean, I think some people are on it, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think Big Bees from our happy hour group has been on the short and long side of USO. Katos, dive deep mentioning Katos. I'll check on that. Excuse me, man.
More defense and drones. So this looks like it had a nice move up. What is this? What time is this? This is after we opened. So we sold off out of the open and reversed, and now we're pretty much flat. Nice rebound, though.
Palantir, this pulling back from its highs, but was up there recently.
Looks like Highmax is trying to come back up to the VWAP, but volume is much lower now.
So market lost its VWAP. It tried to trade above it a little bit, but it ends up coughing that up. Where will HIMS bounce from? Interesting question. HIMS has already kind of bounced, hasn't it? So you're looking for the next possible bounce spot here. Let's see if we can figure that out. I honestly, I would say kind of right in here is an area. This would have been about the high from Tuesday. This also corresponds with what looks like kind of a plunge lower here. I would say that this 25 area, maybe 24.75 to 25, might represent a support area. Otherwise,
I've got two spots. 25 is one of them because that was a breakout spot that we talked about before it was above this area. And now it's going to be support. So 25, and if not there, the 50-day SMA, which I have at 24.39. Those are the two areas of support I see.
Okay, and then this 23 area looks like there was a lot of trading around that round number. So I would say this probably also would give you some support there. SoftBank-backed PayPal shares. SoftBank-backed PayPay. Excuse me, I misread that, JD. My fault. So yeah, software-backed PayPay shares indicated to open 38% above the IPO price. That's a new IPO that we have going today then?
When they're coming up with these names for these companies, I'm trying to think of...
PAYP is the ticker on that, by the way.
I'm trying to think of how that meeting went. Okay, guys, I got a great idea for an app. We're going to call it Pay, but we're not just going to say pay. We're going to say the same word again, and we're going to call it PayPay. What do you think?
I think that's great. I don't know.
It's like it's kindergarten level thinking, in my opinion. But anyway, some of these companies just come up with the simplest names so people can remember them. It's I don't know where the insult is. Is it with the company or with the people they're selling to? I don't get it.
Hey, they got you to talk about it. Trey is not wrong.
Yeah, you're right.
Not wrong.
That would be Tenzin. They're well done.
Papaya would be cooler.
Or Papaya. That'd be awesome.
Pay when paying once just isn't enough. You guys are awesome. Do we not have the best group on the internet? I mean, I swear.
Pay for your product and then pay us the fee.
S&P continuing to roll back down. We'll see if it holds the intraday lows.
Oh yeah, lots of stuff coming in now. Lots of stuff. Crypto all really coming in hard. Bitcoin testing 70,000. Probably going to lose it.
JD asking about FICO and asking if the low has been put in. this is interesting because
it's so crazy that we are seeing so many of these names that we just talked about yesterday get brought up. Sorry to interrupt you.
no, you're that's exactly what I was going to say. You did it for me, which is wonderful. And it was Big B's again, kind of saying that, yeah, you know what, this might be an area here. I don't want to speak for him. I don't know if he's available today. But we just had that same discussion yesterday, JD, about this being a possible spot for FICO. And when you go back here and you look at this area back from 2023, I think it makes a lot more sense. Maybe 1120 as that actual low. I know we're at 1193 here. Expensive stock, not that far away.
So go to FICO's balance sheet real quick. 'Cause I'm going to show you something. Because they had news yesterday about a $1 billion capital raise. That's let's see here. The news was they are proposing an offering of $1 billion in senior notes. It's going to be used for various things, but for managing debt. One of which, if you look at their balance sheet, there is a current portion of long-term debt that is almost $400 million. That's what this capital raise was for. That debt is due this year. So this is part of a debt restructuring, and they're also going to be using that money for other corporate purposes. I tend to think that means they're paying themselves, but in any event, that's what they're using this money for. The company has great products, and I don't know that this is this downtrend that we've been in for 16 months is over now. We might see some chopping around before we actually turn around, but this isn't a downtrend channel I've got here, and we are at the bottom end of this channel right now. So this tells me that we're pretty close to being at the bottom, if not already there. I would think that maybe we could see a little bit lower at 1150 as a bottom, but I don't think that we've got too much further to go based on what I'm seeing here with the chart. Yeah, it's more or less like that, but I didn't include that part from August of 2025. I started with the downtrend using the February 2025 low and the May 2025 low, and that kind of has it drawing through that August area, but then also lining up again with the lows from this year. So that's how I drew it, because I had this trend line out there before we even got to that August low.
Gotcha.
But anyway, to me, it doesn't look like there's going to be a whole lot more downside left to go. So I just don't know when we're exactly going to start turning around.
Okay.
What about Cytospace? We looked at that not too long ago. Let me look at it again here. So it's over 2 now. Pull this up. Yeah, I think we were looking at it when it was just getting over 2, or it was already over 2 and trying to hold above it. I get the sense that this is still going to come back in. I mean, the company, still loses money. It has some revenue, but we need to see some more revenue start showing up, because, it loses several million a quarter. It's got enough cash for now, but we're going to need to start seeing some revenue in this thing. It's going to be a great trade when we get news in the space names or satellites, but other than that, it really doesn't trade a whole lot. It's very, very thinly traded.
Service Titan, seeing a whole bunch of call sweeps come across the wire here. This definitely looks upside here. So these are March 20th. So this is for what, next week? Next Friday expiry, the 80 calls. So looking for another move here, 2 and maybe through 80. That's Titan, TTAN, Service Titan. Some unusual call flow there.
Yeah, Mike, I wouldn't be surprised if that offering is for the share repurchase. We've been seeing some companies raise different series of Roma's open, different series of
Roma's open and lower. I don't know how much longer it's going to be open, because it might halt here at 455.
Yeah.
Wow, what a dump on Roma.
Yeah, right back down to basically the high of the after hours. We've been seeing other companies raise capital to do share buybacks. There was one company that I think reported yesterday that was going to be doing a share buyback with senior notes as well. I can't remember what it was though. U.S. oil is going over $200 a barrel. Well, that's what Iran has said.
Yeah, we'll see.
Nokia, is this moving, or do you just want us to look at it? Because it's up,
I can pull it up.
It's up 3 2/3% to today. But Nokia, this is one of the names that I like for 6G. There's a NVIDIA initiative. They've got a whole bunch of partners that are working on 6G infrastructure. I posted that yesterday. I can post that again today. Let me pull the list up for you. But Nokia is one of them. Ericsson is another one. T-Mobile, Dell. I think it was when we were talking about Dell that I brought this list up. So,
Kathy, you're absolutely right, and I should have mentioned this. Titan has earnings after hours, so that makes those call sweeps a little bit more interesting. Very clearly, upside calls that they were buying there, and maybe 4 earnings today.
Take care, Judge. Okay, so
Take care of yourself, Judge.
That's the list there of the names that I've got together for NVIDIA's ecosystem partners for 6G development. Those are all the names that that were involved that I could find tickers for.
Frozen King says 6G is still 2030 at the absolute earliest.
Yeah. But I think we'll start. So that's when we'll probably end up start seeing get commercially rolled out. But they're going to be, I would think they do test markets probably the year before. But yes, it's going to be a little bit of time before we actually are able to even use this. That doesn't mean that it's not a good idea to start getting these things ahead of time. Before even AI made its way here, we already saw those stocks start to run. Same thing with quantum. Before that, it's even arrived, which a lot of people argue it's not even here yet. That already started to go. So I don't think it's a bad idea to start jumping in or considering these things earlier before the actual product arrives.
All right, 13, we are out of time here today. Any closing words for the group? Whoa, that's not what I meant to happen. There we go.
Yes, Wendy's, I think you're right about that. So another fun day here, folks. We had some really great movement. Some of these names, I mean, congratulations on the Roma trade and Wolf and some of these other ones. Lots of great movement here today. Lots of great winners. Hope everybody made some great money. But let's come back here tomorrow with our capital that we have been very well managed, and let's manage some more trades and make some more money. So until then, folks, have a great rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.
All right. Indeed, 13. Really good stuff here today. We're going to close the week out strong tomorrow. Look forward to that and look forward to seeing you on Happy Hour. We're done here for today, folks, but don't forget, we have that AI webinar coming up here in a half an hour. Just enough time for you to go to the washroom, do what you need to do, get your breakfast, your coffee, or whatever else it is that you do. Be sure to sign up for that free webinar. Check out the AI theme. That'll do it for us here today. 413. I'm Ryan. Stay green, stay safe, stay focused. Have a great rest of your Thursday. We'll see you again bright and early tomorrow. We're going to bring on Mark Petrino tomorrow as well.